Just give us a thumbs up when everyone is ready. We all good? So, hello and everyone. Welcome to the Salad Talk Show, where we are talking about different topics, and we will be discussing tonight survival games and horror. So we have quite a few streamers and our regular community for the Salad stream. Let me go through introductions. So my name is Professor Lettuce, and I am let's say, the producer of this stream, but I also stream on my own channel. But I find myself in a position where I can host such wonderful individuals in this stream, such as Corvus. So say hello, Corvus.
Hey guys, I'm Corvus, otherwise known as Corv, lovingly known as Sausage. I'm a variety horror streamer. And thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on the show. So Corvus has quite a few followers. He made a quick splash with his interesting horror gameplay Let's Plays and his interesting character community interactions with some of his characters that he's introduced. So we also have on stream is Captain Naboo. So say hello.
Hello.
Yep, so Captain Naboo is the man of many names who appears on quite a few of our sort of multi-streams that we have. So whether it's Andy, Steve, Naboo, he's a man of many names, but there's always the running joke that he's running on basically a potato of a computer. But he has fun, and that's the name of the game, and that's why we're here. So we also have with us Karkan, which is Swedish for cookie.
Heyo.
So Cookie is our resident Swedish bartender. So he's quite infamous for going away for long breaks to make the most elaborate cocktails for his family. But he is also probably an addict to survival games. So it makes him very relevant to today's conversation. We also have with us Wee John Gaming. And there he is, waving his little hands. So Wee John, part Scot, part pumpkin. So he has exploded in the streaming recently in a very quick succession with his catchphrase of play games, have fun, and talk to people, which I guess is exactly what we should all be doing, really. But again, he's excitable. He's, very, worthwhile streams.
Something's happened!
Yep, something's happened. And that is our cast for tonight, but we may be joined further much. We have to say apologies that unfortunately Shiny Cat has internet issues. If she has these repaired, she may come up, back on, but we may also get in a sixth member for the discussions, Knuckler Games. So Knuckler Gaming may come in later, but we still didn't have the discussion of whether or not he's going to come in. So, as tonight's theme is survival games and horror, I think we should start with the ultimate question of, what's your favorite survival game? So I'm going to put that out.
Forest.
Survival or horror? Or survival horror?
Well, that's a good question. Survival horror. For me, it's... we were having a pre-stream discussion on what is a survival game. And that's where it mostly comes down to. Now, Wikipedia says that survival games have this just very specific, that it's all about an action element where you are having to survive against something against you, which opens up an entire different thing that then it splits off into the small different parts. Now, John, you said the forest. Why the forest?
It's the first game I played where I had to worry about sanity, health, hydration, food, stamina, and I was scared shitless. And like building something as simple as just like a house made me feel safe at night in a fucking game. And like the AI of the cannibals just freaked me out so much. And yeah, just the fact that I built a house and I felt safe meant, oh my god, this game's hitting home.
So it is truly the survival aspect that you got onto.
Oh yeah, I was like, I've got to worry about this. There's things at the door. There's some woman shaking her nipples at me. They've got axe. Oh god, they've got to come in. Jesus, God, there's a mutant. There's something with legs and God knows what. It was like, yeah, I played a lot of games, but that like just hit home. I was like, because I was panicking and having to think about not just new defenses, where my next food's coming from, what weapons to get, where to go. Yeah, I thought like I was in a survival situation, which is what the game was, and that was the goal. So.
I mean, you brought up the question of whether it should be horror, Corvus. I mean, why do you see a distinction?
So, survival, you can have pure survival games, like Ark, for instance. There's no horror aspects to Ark. It's purely survival. You get your dinos, you build your bases, it goes futuristic and mad, and I miss the good old times of Ark where it was simply, you have a club, and you go bash some poor fucker's door in, and, you know, put him in a cage and feed him poop. Those were the good old days. But that would be a pure survival game in my.
So that's your selling point, is feeding poop. That's exactly right. Like,
well,
I mean, that's the thing
that's
the thing that turns me off, the poop thing, because your character poops all the time.
Yeah, well, for instance, Daisy, and there's a famous story where my wife played Daisy with me for the first time, and we caught some guy. She handcuffed him, force fed him chlorine, revived him, let him go, and as he was running around 400 meters, she just popped around him, popped him with a sniper rifle, and carried on her merry way. Whilst the rest of the group just kind of sat there and went, okay. But that would be, you know, the earliest, I think, survival horror game that I've come across that I can think of right now. But in terms of actual modern survival horror games, I'd say Green Hell would be one of the newer ones. Or
absolutely terrifying game.
Yeah. But, you know, it's not a pure horror game, because you've got the whole survival aspect, so you have that element to it.
But isn't survival itself horrifying if you've got to survive?
Yeah, well,
it's a good thing. I mean, ultimately, I mean, Cookie, you're somebody that introduced me to a little bit more, where we started playing Rust to begin with, which is more a player versus player sort of event. And I mean, what sort of, is that the sort of game that you enjoy, Cookie, most? Is the sort of more action orientated sort of survival, or do you prefer more of the sort of horror aspect?
I'm not so much for the horror aspect of the game. And like when it comes to Rust, like I'm not so much the player versus player. I'm more PvE. And like Corvus bringing up Green Hell, like that's more psychological horror, I would say, than like if you would take Daisy or like, I mean, you could almost argue as well that like Phasmophobia is survival horror because you're struggling to stay alive. But like for me, survival games is like you're in an environment that's hostile. You have to take care of your needs like food, water, sanity in some cases, and just should I call it, like the magnitude of the situation that like, okay, so you need to think about all these stuffs, but then the game also throws in AI enemies against you, like in 7 Days to Die, like in the forest. Like I just enjoy the variety of the survival games.
For me, I always found that with a good survival game, there's a point where you get comfortable.
Yeah.
And then you can just go and explore and have a bit more freedom of fun type stuff. And that's that for me, that's kind of a really good game.
7 Days to Die.
Yeah, it's for me, I love survival games for the building aspect pretty much. But I like the building aspect because that you notice in any of the games, and even in some of the streaming gameplays, I always, even in the muck silly gameplays that we've been playing recently, I always just love building stuff for the lulz. So in Ark, I made the Thunderdome, so we could have, you know, in Rust, I made where we actually captured people and threw them into a giant arena pit that I made. So we go around capturing people, making them fight to the death for our pleasure. It's more the building aspect. I got really into Minecraft with another group where, so a shout out to the EXS guys for this, where we really got,
Oh,
we really got into Minecraft where we started building lots of stuff. But that's the point of, for me, it's more the building aspect, the survival aspect. It runs out really quickly in a lot of games for me because as soon as you said, we get comfortable, and then you start doing things.
to be fair, on that Minecraft server, because I remember that when the world set itself on fire because somebody played with lava, then the survival became quite. Yes, I know it was me. I set the world on fire, and this is back when Minecraft was what, like $5 or something ridiculously cheap.
Yeah.
So back in 2011.
Yeah, I mean Minecraft. I mean, as I say, it's like I introduced Wee John by getting hit by getting in the forest when he was starting to get back into gaming, and for him, he's never looked back.
You madman.
Yeah, I blame myself, and everyone that's watching his stream can blame me for what's happening.
It's all his fault. It's all his fault.
But in the same time, I think there's something about survival horrors that's really sort of brought us all together, because I think all of us love aspects of it, right? And I love playing games with pretty much everyone that we're currently playing with at the moment. Whether it's...
He killed my first Spino with a jellyfish.
He's never going to let that go.
I'm never letting that go. I love you, Cookie, but you killed my first Spino with a jellyfish.
Sorry, Lettuce. Knuckler's trying to get into the Discord, and he's having issues.
I invite him in, so he should be able to come in. So let me just...
Don't give me the sad face, Cookie. I'm sorry.
So sorry on stream, guys. I'm just going to add a member. I'm going to add Knuckler.
You're just hamming it up now.
What's he He's just hamming it up. Right, okay.
Yeah, he's hamming up.
There we go.
I had that spider for like 5 minutes, and I trusted you. And that jellyfish. Fucking jellyfish.
It wasn't the first thing we'd killed.
Yeah. Oh, they're fucking awful. Oh.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Oh, don't get me
It's
started.
been a while since I played Ark, so...
Torpor is a shit.
They got ADHD.
Oh, God.
What was a jellyfish? Yeah,
Yeah. Didn't I admin that server initially?
Yeah. You were flying around.
Godlike.
Yeah.
Flying around the server just like,
God,
what?
sad.
My thing's dead. Could you respawn it for me, please?
It was the dolphin. It was our first ever dolphin
Yeah.
that we got, and it died. And we were like begging you to like respawn it.
Did you call it Flipper?
I think we did.
Yeah, I think it was actually
I
called.
fucking think we did. I think we did. Flipper or Flippy? That's where I'm thinking that we. Yeah. But anyway, close.
So I mean, a lot of these games come in like early access, right?
Yeah.
And
And they take off in early access, and when it actually comes out, it sort of dies off for a while. Like Ark was in early access for how long?
3 years or something like that. Something more than that, I think.
7 days is still early access.
7 days to die is still early access. Yeah.
Yep. Knuckler's saying it's still locked.
He's got permission set and he's got inviting, so I'm not sure what's going on. What I'm thinking, if you guys would just give me a quick moment on this one as we try and get it up, and what do you guys think is? I mean, I just on that note is I had to return Ghost Hunter Core because it was so broken due to early access. Because I was so annoyed.
That was a lovely stream. I love that stream.
So
great.
I enjoyed it immensely. Apart from the fact that when the ghost appeared, we all saw it in different places. The ragdolling effect was insanely broken because John wouldn't fit into a van when he was dead. Hey, Knuckler.
Hello, and
guys.
here we are, Knuckler.
Oh
So-
my god, that's fucking crazy. I just had to reset my thing. My time was different. I'm in the Pacific Northwest, so like it's 11 a.m. for me.
Morning.
So everybody on that's listening in this is Knuckler, and could you introduce yourself to the stream?
Yeah, my name is Knuckler. I am basically a variety horror streamer. I am a big time nerd. I've done cosplays. I've done a lot of things. So yeah, been in a streaming game for a little bit, and I ran into these guys, and yeah, this has been pretty cool.
Excellent, man. Thank you very much for joining us. I mean, we're just talking at the moment about early access and horror and survival games.
Early access. That's I feel that one.
Yeah, because I had to return Ghost Hunter Core, and John's like, "Oh, it was a great game. It's broken as hell, absolutely."
Ghost
broken.
Hunter Core. Yeah, no, that's why I was kind of thinking of getting Back for Blood, but there's a big thing going on with the overlaying of the zombies, and they're saying words that they're not supposed to be saying. And so I was like, oh, maybe I should wait a little bit before I start trying to stream something like that.
I streamed the alpha a little bit, and it's I played a little bit with Lettuce, and I played a little bit myself. And you have to play that game. The bots are just, for lack of a better word, they're lemmings. They just follow you. They don't do anything.
They don't do anything. They just sit there and stand.
They're looking at me, kind of going.
They lick your ankles. They lick your ankles.
They lick your ankles? Are you serious? That's crazy.
Your socks get covered in ectoplasm.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. It's fucking freaky.
I mean, is it a good thing, early access, though? Do you think? Because there's two debates in regards to early access, right? Is it that you're getting an unfinished product, or is it the fact that you're, or you're supporting it, right?
I think it's more of about like a hype thing. Like they let them come out because people want to have the game. They want people to sit there, and people are just impatient because, when developers are making games, how many emails and how many times do you think people are like, just come out already? And then they get rushed to come out with this unproduced game. So to protect themselves, they say, hey, it's early access. So if anything's broken, it's not on us because, it's early access.
I like the sort of, you get a game and then you get sort of bits to it that you wouldn't potentially get, because we get to say, this is shit, this doesn't work, can you change this? And they do.
Yeah. Not always, though.
But do they really, though? Really?
They did with things like Space Engineers or even 7 Days to Die to some degree.
Well, you got to think about Dead by Daylight right now with that crazy stuff that they're having going on with maps getting shut down, consoles not being able to connect, and that game is full-fledged. Like, technically, it was early access for so long, and when they come, they're still having problems, and they're not listening to anybody. So it's not necessarily that they listen more in early access or when the game comes out. I just think it's more of like a hype thing because people are impatient, especially over here in the States. Like, people are so impatient.
I don't know. I think Scottish people can be quite impatient. So I don't think it's very much.
No, we're not. We're patient
people
folk.
in the world.
We're patient folk.
That's a lie. You ever been to a bar in Scotland?
I'm the most patient person you'll ever meet.
Did you try queuing in a bar?
I didn't have to queue in a bar. My mate had an epic beard, and he came up to the thing, and the guy went, "I'm serving him."
That's pretty much how it works.
Yeah, it's
in Edinburgh, actually.
It's an interesting fact. I mean, ultimately, for me, whether it's survival or whether it's horror, for me, it's more about, I enjoy watching people play them more than playing myself. That's a personal thing. That's why I really enjoy, so for example, Corvus's streams, looking at Knuckler's streams, John streams, because I love the guys, your reactions to what's going on screen. And as much as you can, because I'm not a personal, for example, my home situation, I have a wife that really doesn't like horror. Okay, so how I can't really experience that. I have to do it on the sly, so I can't really ever kind of engage with it in the same way. But what drives you guys? What drives you guys? I mean, I personally think, for me, as I said, building part is what I love in survival games. I'm not really driven by the horror aspect.
So for pure horror games, like psychological horror games, I play those for the scare factor, the adrenaline rush. I'm sure, Knuckler, you're the same, because you play the same games I do.
It's kind of both. It's the adrenaline. I like being scared, and I like the story. I like the what the fuck is going on moments. I like the aspect. That's what draws me to horror games is the fear, and then what's going on? Why did this happen? That's why I love Resident Evil so much. There's just so in depth in the lore, just so much.
Because I know John, when I was living with you before, I remember that
Sorry.
hearing screams in the dark from when you guys
Yep,
were playing
yep,
Silent Hill.
Yep.
Yep. It's literally, I was like, I come home from work and then everything is turned off. They're shut up in a small room, him and another flatmate, and all I'm hearing is screams.
It's in my blood. It's in my blood. I'm the person that at 10 years old decorated, and it's not in the US where Halloween is like celebrated. In Scotland, I was decorating like my front garden. I was. It's in my blood. I love Halloween. I love horror.
A lot of your decorations are
I'm-
here at the moment.
And yet you've also got Andy's flat is covered in decorations from me, and I'm covered in pumpkins. It's in my blood. I love horror. I can't explain it. I just love it. It's part of me. So also,
Oh yeah.
people love me screaming. Just saying. I'm just putting that out there.
Scream Queen 2021.
Ooh, there we go.
Hashtag scream queen. That's,
I'm just if it's on my skin, it's on me. It's in me. It's as simple as that. It's amazing.
So I've got Wikipedia up at the moment of the list on Wikipedia of all of the games that they are classified as sort of survival. And I would say like 50% of them are like survival horror. The other ones are like survival, classic survival. But for me, I think it exploded in like the early 2000s when DayZ mod for Armor Free came out.
I've never played
Yeah.
Daisy.
Yeah, and then
Ooh.
all of the DayZ sort of exploded because then it came DayZ, and then suddenly you then started seeing all of the different mods which then built on the building aspect of DayZ. They added the building aspect, which then moved into things such as the forest, Ark sort of went off in that direction. And then you had the PvP aspect, which then turned into like Rust and sort of turned into Tarkov and Battle Royale games, which
Oh yeah.
exploded. But that all really started from DayZ mod and then the modding community being involved in it. So the community, I think, comes back to the early access thing. Is having a stable game that's moddable more important for like this genre, for like, or is it going to be having a finished product better? Because that's for me a coming back to this thing, because it's sort of my lack of understanding of why people invest so much in an unfinished thing in the hope that it will turn into something good.
Bigfoot.
What do you say?
Bigfoot.
Yeah,
Bigfoot.
Bigfoot, that's actually an example, but we stopped playing it for ages, John. I mean, Bigfoot came out,
Yeah.
we never played it.
Yeah, and then there was an update, and then we were blown away by it, and that's.
Yeah, but wouldn't it have been better if we would have been playing it all the time? Because usership and all these sort of things, more people buying it, and
I like to get cock teased.
You just like the rimming? Okay.
I just like to get cock teased, and then like the anticipation builds, and then something you get an update, and you're like, oh my god, it's climax game in heaven.
Mm-hmm.
Or you get an update and you're sitting there going, "Oh my god, what the fuck did they do?"
Oh, dude.
Or it's an
Oh, yeah.
anti-climax. But either way, you know, it's an
The
event.
climaxing either way. It's either
Yeah.
anti or for.
Yeah, you're like either ooh or.
yeah, it's like 2013 to 2015, something in the region of like 20 games came out in the space of like 2 to 3 years. Where then it started turning into like the culling, H1Z1, Starbound.
Yeah.
Conan Exiles came out in 2017, which is
Conan.
Oh,
Cookie.
that was a good game.
Is,
Played that in a
uh,
while.
No more.
Cookie.
Is-
Oh, you love that game.
We did so much Conan together, and
Yeah.
then Andy was my after Conan partner.
And then
And
I
there's some
didn't
great
play for
mods
Oh
one
my
day.
God.
I didn't play for one day, and you just took over the map. Yeah. There was mounds and buildings and all kinds of shit.
That fucking chicken tavern was epic. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
There was go-go dance. There was a VIP fucking disco bar upstairs. There was go-go dance. There was everything.
Yeah.
Oh my
Anyway.
god.
We're not very domestic. Sorry.
Mm.
Moving on.
so. I mean,
Shall we?
at Knuckler, I mean, we haven't really played a lot of sort of games together. I didn't really know you from Dead by Daylight more than anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you found that Dead by Daylight, for example, recently has exploded? And because it's been the top 3 sort of game on Twitch for the last, I would think, month or so. It's when I look down the listing, it's Dead by Daylight has exploded. What's happened? Dead by Daylight hasn't really had any changes to it.
No, I think it's just it kind of was like picking off, and then other people were watching it. I actually just got looped into like the next big haul that they did, because they keep coming out with these new killers and more higher up. So like they just came out with the Resident Evil. So honestly, that's why I got on it. I had a buddy who's like, hey, Resident Evil's coming on Dead by Daylight. Never even thought about it. And then I started playing it and I was like, holy crap. This game, it's one of those games that get your adrenaline. I think it's just going off just because everybody loves horror. It's right in that spooky season too. They had a lot of good promotions, but what's also giving them a lot of following is a lot of people are having trouble with the game. So they're like, oh, someone's actually playing the game. I can't play it, so let's watch this guy play it. Because it's that adrenaline, that survival that you get. You know, you're sitting there working on a gen, like literally all you're doing is working on the gen. You're just like, okay. And then you hear that heartbeat and you're just like, okay, I gotta go faster. I got to go faster. And I think that's what people have been wanting, is they want that adrenaline rush. And people love first person shooters. People love stuff like that, but it doesn't give you the adrenaline of the person coming after you. I have no idea what they're going to do, because this is a whole nother player. First person shooter kind of gets to a point like, I know someone's going to come through this place because it's the best place to flank. So I'm going to go there, flank there. Oh, got flanked before them. But the horror aspect is what I'm seeing. And a lot of people are following because there's other streamers, like big streamers that have been jumping on it that are going, like Puppers and stuff. They've been promoting so much and people want to see it do good. But necessarily it's not doing as well. So that's why people are just getting so obsessed with it. Like the owner itself says, we're doing pretty good so far every time he talks about it. Like that's the main guy saying, I think we're doing pretty good so far. And that's what brings me into the aspect, because I like seeing the growth, seeing where they're going to go. Like they just lost their license to Stranger Things, so they're about to lose all of the map. You're not going to be able to buy the Stranger Things people anymore coming up. But now the whole thing is Hellraiser's coming in. So now you got everybody in the 80s now we're like, oh my God, Hellraiser. So right there, it's just bringing up hype. And I think it's just that they're learning that they put some horror people in there and people are just going to follow that. Like Candyman, I'll be hardcore back into Dead by Daylight. If Candyman gets really big, the new remake coming at the end of the month, that movie comes in, like, I'd be Candyman all the time.
Oh, I just said it 3 times. I'm fucked.
Yep.
No, you got not in a mirror.
Hi, John.
Remember.
I always have a mirror in front of me. I'm dead.
Yeah.
My stream, if I just disappear, you know what's happened, Ken.
That's a very good point. That's a very good point regarding horror. I mean, how much is that game driven by horror mass media? The fact that the classics, is that what's driving it?
Yeah, that's what I think it's honestly driving it, because people don't really care. Like when I talk to people about Dead by Daylight, no one's like, man, I really like the Trapper. Oh man, the nurse is like, people like the nurse because they get that, but no one's talking about them. They're saying, dude, Ghostface is in there. Dude, Mike Myers? Like I'm getting chased by Mike Myers right now. Like I don't feel fear. Like when I see the other guys, I'm like, oh, it's the hillbilly. Oh, he's gonna run into some trees, whatever. But when I see Mike Myers, I'm like, oh my God, this guy's gonna stab the fuck out of me. I need to run. Same thing with like Ghostface. Like when you see him, it's that symbol, that iconic like horror. It just strikes fear into you. And I think that's what they're living on right now. And I think people weren't that afraid of, Stranger Things. So cut that out, replace it with Hellraiser, get people a little bit more scared, see how they go with that aspect. Because they haven't come out with that too many original people recently. It seems right now that they're more concentrating on acquiring license and then building, kind of like Fortnite. Like Fortnite right now is doing everything with like music people and stuff. Dead by Daylight could be technically the horror Fortnite.
The horror Fortnite. Now that's a big statement, right? So that's a big statement.
You heard it here first.
Heard it here first.
You put dancing in there, you got it. Like you have Fortnite.
You have people doing weird dances in Dead by Daylight already.
Oh, dude, every round. Every time I play, I at least have 2 rounds where I can do something stupid, someone else will do something stupid, and then it's a party. Just like Fortnite. Like, I've won rounds of Fortnite, like, I'm just sitting there dancing. The guy's like, hey, look at this guy's dancing. And then, wipe him out. It's just kind of like they're going the right route because they're watching what other games are doing successful, grabbing popular licenses, and that's why it's just so popular.
Do you think it's mainly also because there's no one else doing what Dead by Daylight is doing? No one else is doing this sort of... There has been a couple of attempts at it, but no one has done it as effectful as that.
Wasn't the rake something like that?
Yeah, the rake thing that we did. That was the latest one.
Oh, In Silence.
In Silence.
Yeah, in Silence,
That
yes.
was fantastic.
All right, yeah, In Silence and Rake. But you know what?
Play a mouse when you die.
I get so annoyed by these because they're basically asset flips from the Unity store where they just buy the game and just reskin it. That's all they do, and that doesn't. But I will say, In Silence has been one of the only ones where I felt that they'd done something original in these sort of acid flip. If you go down Steam, you'll see hundreds of them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Literally hundreds of the same thing.
Oh, what? Devour,
Lunch Lady?
Lunch Lady, Grandma?
I thought
Yeah,
Cobra
Grandma,
said,
she's there.
I thought Cobra said Munch Lady. Sorry.
Probably is a game called Munch Lady for all you know.
I bet. You can like pull it up right now and you're able to see all the crazy.
We played Granny, and I'm sure that's been turned into like a horror thing as well.
Oh, definitely.
And like
When
the,
you
the,
said-
the- like the granny sitter thing, where like you play a baby and a granny, that's been turned into like a horror thing. Someone's muttered that.
What? One of my chat just asked if that's Francis in the bottom right. So John, you look like Francis from Left 4 Dead, apparently.
Yeah.
If you want an autograph, just
Actually-
message me. I will agree on a price, and I'll.
Actually, now you mention it, that is the thing. So we've been chatting for about half an hour. Okay, so this is a good time to start bringing in some questions from the chats if we have any coming in. So if you're in any of the chats, fire in questions that you would like us to cover or discuss, and we'll have a look through them in a second. Do we have any questions in from your guys' streams at the moment? Other than Francis from Left 4 Dead. Got pills?
Helia wants an autograph from John. That's about it.
I'll get you it right. Done.
Oh, you got
Did that. Where's my notes?
You got a notes.
Oh, look at him. He's already prepared.
He's already prepared.
Francis from Left 4 Dead. What
I
the
always have a pad.
Francis?
Not clear.
Francis?
Helia.
Francis?
So, right, and then that's going to go into a square, and then that's going to have a box, so I can sort that out with Helia later on.
Sort out with Helia later on. Okay,
Oh.
is there going to be a fight? Or...
Yoy.
So,
I'd say she can take a.
yeah,
I
probably.
say she could take him.
Yeah,
God's pretty tough. He's a tough little man.
Knuckler! I thought you had me. It's your snowflake, and this
So-
is what happened.
I've got a few pre-prepared questions if we have anything, but remember chat.
Oh, okay.
So if chat doesn't provide anything, I've got stuff that we can go through.
I have one.
Oh, you have one?
Yep. How do you feel about Raft as a survival game?
Rack.
Raft.
Raft.
That's the one where you're like
yeah.
out on the water,
Yeah.
right? And then you're
Yeah,
when the
Dave-
big
Dave
fish.
Gaming does it.
Yeah, I think it's great.
Yeah.
I mean, and as a concept, it's a really cool idea. You're sort of isolated on this raft, and you just have to build from what comes by you. So rather than hunting for stuff, you have to capture what comes by you. But yeah, no, I think it's a really cool concept. It didn't become massively popular, even though people like, I don't know, Memes Gaming and stuff picked it up for a while. I don't know why. Maybe it didn't evolve quick enough, but it was, I thought as a concept, it was a really good idea.
But was it keyboard, mouse, or VR?
It was a
keyboard mouse.
PC, yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I have a VR game that's kind of like that called Island Time, where you're on an island, you build a raft, you get on and you go on that. But it's like more of like kiddie. I don't really feel like I'm in danger.
Yeah, Raft is sort of that cartoon style, though. It is a bit, it's bright, vivid colors, so it doesn't seem massively dangerous, but you do keep getting attacked by a shark, so,
See, the sharks, that's got me sold. I'll get raft. Fucking sharks, man. That scares the shit out of me.
I think Raft solo isn't as much fun though. It's one of those games where you need a group of people. Like there are certain survival games I've noticed that, like 7 Days for Die is a great example.
Oh,
Playing that solo, boring as hell. Playing it with a group of friends, exceptionally hilarious.
Yeah, I would agree, actually. 7 Days to Die by yourself can be a bit boring after a short bit of time, but once you've got a bunch of friends in doing horde nights together, it becomes, especially if you're doing it at John's Hole. If you haven't seen that video, I do recommend everybody go and look at.
Check out John's Hole.
Yep, check out John's Hole.
It's legendary.
And
it's prepped. It's prepped for, like, I would like to get as many people in as possible for a stream. I would like to get Knuckler in, I'd like to get Corbus in, I'd like to get all you guys in, and we just, like, my hole is primed for a busting. Let's bust my hole up.
And we have plenty of resources to equip people with anyways.
Yeah. I'm just saying, just put my hole out there for the future.
But you got a good point. I mean, ultimately, that I think the raft is too friendly for survival. Because that's where 7 Days to Die and a lot of the other sort of survival games, you actually have that adrenaline rush and fear that you do have to go out and do stuff. You do have to survive. Well, even though you have to kind of do that in the raft, it doesn't feel that you're actually truly in the same level of danger.
Except for the fact that you will run out of water or food if you don't keep on top of it.
Yeah.
But it could you think it's straight up to the color palette? The design choice is potentially the choice where they think they may have maybe missed a trick.
There's another one called Stranded Deep, which is a bit more,
I've seen Stranded Deep.
a bit more dark, a bit more ingrained, which is a similar idea, but you jump from island to island rather than on a raft.
Yeah.
Do you think that's better, or because of that?
Yeah, it is a bit more. It's a bit more survival. It's a bit more realistic to a degree. There's still a lot of, physics doesn't quite make sense in a lot of it, but it's still more realistic than Raft, where you're sitting an entire tower on this thing that's one level flat and hasn't tipped over yet.
Mm-hmm.
I just think Stranded Deep did better because a raft, you just have a raft. I'm one of those environment people. So like when I'm seeing just a little raft and I'm sitting out there like, oh, I'm fishing, seeing ocean. Oh, here comes a shark. Like it gets kind of repetitive. We're going to the different islands, having the different environments. Like that whole brings a whole other aspect of the what if. When you're out in the water, you're kind of like, I know what's up. I'm stuck on the raft. But when you go to the island, you're like, what am I going to find here?
They did add a whole load of extra stuff to Raft, your islands that you can find and bits and bobs. You can drift into them. But it's still very much in that sort of slightly cartoonistic feel. Whereas where Stranded Deep is obviously more realistic. You have like shipping containers that be washed up and so forth.
But
so yeah,
on that, you do have like games such as Terraria, Starbound, Minecraft, which are survival, but on the sort of more cartoony side. But I know for a fact in stuff like Minecraft, I've had some of the most horrific experiences of my life in that game, where you're in the middle of nowhere, you're laced with diamond gear, and you're in half a heart, and you're trying to find some way of healing yourself. So it being more cartoony, I don't think is much a detriment, depending on the type of games.
Okay.
I see that.
Someone in my chat was saying Project Zomboid is another one.
I have seen some of that. That actually looks quite interesting.
Yeah, I've seen that.
What is that one like?
You won't like it. It's scary.
Do they have a van?
Yeah,
No, you don't have a van.
But that's like an isometric top-down sort of thing.
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of XCOM.
It has a lot of XCOM feeling. So Project Zomboid, if anyone doesn't actually know about it, so the idea is that you have you are alone. You have often a lone survivor, and they've made it as realistic as possible. So you're stuck in a house, or you've got to, you've got to deal with your water, but it's single player, right? As I understood it.
Yeah, there is a multiplayer potentially coming.
But
well, I mean, it does say online PvP and online co-op.
So, all right, okay, because as far as I last saw it, it was single player, but it's very hardcore, where you have to do things such as strip the curtains down so you could get fabric out of a building, so you could then make yourself, or you at night you have to sort of cover all of the windows to make sure you don't get attacked by zombies. So there's that sort of next level. But it's really high up and it's isometric. So it doesn't really have, for me, the same level of immersion as a lot of the other ones do.
Sort of RimWorld style.
A bit. But more, yeah, so not rather, RimWorld's sort of more like top down, right?
Oh, is it side on?
Yeah, so
no, top down. Top down.
yeah,
Yeah, but not Zomboid.
not Zomboid.
Zomboid.
Zomboid's isometric, so sort of coming out a diagonal.
Ah, okay, fair enough.
Yeah. But again, that's coming into the sort of what is horror, what is survival. So that's sort of in the between. That's where the horror is the survival aspect. But in a lot of games, the survival aspect after a point no longer becomes horror. It's often the initial start of the game is horror filled as you're trying to survive. But then afterwards, then it becomes the lulls.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've had a very good question from chat, actually. Another one. God, you sexy people. So Lama says, what do you feel about VR horror?
Oh.
Oh,
Saying
Knuckler would be the best one to answer this.
that is exactly how horror games should be played, is in VR. I have never been more terrified playing Phasmophobia than I ever did playing any like Resident Evil, because you got keyboard and mouse, but when you're in the VR, you're
Fully
gorged in everything. Yeah, everything is around you. So like Phasmophobia, just jumping out scared me, even with the chat, like, because you're in the VR, you can't even see when somebody comes up on the chat. So when they play the freaky music, I'm jumping, screaming from that, and nothing's going on. I've played Affected Manor. That one's pretty good. It's just kind of like going through paths and more of like a visual, kind of like a psychological, but it's still like completely engulfs you. Like amazing. The best one so far that I've played is The Exorcist. That one was so great because there's different missions you have, and that one does what I like about horror games is when they kind of mess with you. Like you'll walk down a hallway and then all of a sudden a wall turns around, you turn around, there's another wall, you're like, oh, I'm trapped. But in VR, it brings it. That game, when I was playing the first time, I screamed so loud that everybody in my house thought I fell down or I was hurt, because I was screaming because a pig creature just ran at me because there's all these pig heads. I'm sitting there having a fun time, like, yeah, this is good. And I'm like dancing with the pig heads, having a great little time. And then I noticed one standing in the corner, and I was playing on my big screen for my son, so he was watching. And I was like, was that pig head here before? He's like, I don't think so. And I'm like intently looking at it, and it just ran right at me. Dude, like just getting sucked into stuff like that. And then other kind of other ones I've played. I played the Five Nights at Freddy's VR horror. That one's really fun.
Terrifying.
That one's like in your face screaming though. That one, oh, I can't hear the screaming how it goes.
So do you, whenever you're in VR, are you still sitting at the desk looking at the screens?
No, I stand up. I put a whole little area. I have like a whole little area that I have to do my VR because I got the VR to get Star Wars games. And then the love of Star Wars games, and I was like, well, there's horror games on this, and the next thing I know, I'm buying just all these horror games, and then it's basically Horror Central. But yeah, you stand up. Some of the games you can walk around. Affected Manor, you can actually physically walk around. I don't like those games because I feel like I'm going to swing and hit somebody, because sometimes you're just like, oh no, I don't know what's going to happen. But yeah, VR horror is the revolution that they need. Like Resident Evil 4 is coming out in VR soon. I'm getting that because I want to play Resident Evil game in VR. I think that'd be phenomenal, even though it's more of a kind of a shooter one. But like, yeah,
Don't you think the barrier to entry for VR might be too high for a lot of people, though?
Right now, it's reasonable if you go into the aspect, like, yes, if you get an Oculus, you do have to sell your soul to Facebook, which if you have a Facebook, you've already technically did. It's reasonable because you can get one for around $299, which is less than buying like a PS5 or one of the new Xboxes, or even go and get that. Like my Quest, I have a standalone system. I bought the high-end one, and it was roughly around like $400 American. And then from that, I had the full on, and then I just went and spent another $100 on a cord, plug it into my computer, boom, I get the full on Rift, every single game that's available. So for roughly the same price, I could buy a console. Like if I went to go buy a PS4, or do I want to buy the Oculus Quest? For here, it's kind of like what you want to go. So it's completely reasonable. It's just that people think it's out of aspect because people think you have to have this high-end PC. You have to have all this. Well, now there's standalone systems like the Quest 2, which I have, and then it has the ability to go in that. And it has a full-on system that's better than most phones. So like I was playing some games like, yeah, occasionally you're like, okay, this is really 720p. And then, but then when you hook it up to the computer, like it's completely available. And now with the games and how they are, like Roblox, like weird ass games are VR. And so that means like you can plug them into, like you have an i5, let's go. Plug that in, let's play some fucking VR.
There is a couple of things coming out with VR with like haptic feedback suits where literally you have like a chest
Just
piece
buzzing on the
and gloves and
nipples
so
the
on.
entire time, or
Yeah. Well, someone
Yeah.
can touch you and it'll send haptic feedback so you can actually feel it. But apparently for horror,
You can
someone was
feel it.
testing it for some prototype horror game and ran into a wall. Like there's a video on YouTube somewhere where someone's testing it and like the ghost touched them and the guy screamed and just ran face first into a wall, and he was wearing it was a Valve Index, which is like a grand easy.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh my god.
Oh,
yeah.
Just think about that, like the hands coming across to you, like when you have the core games that go in your fifth, like the monster grabbing you. Just imagine feeling that, like,
Sign me up.
dude. I'd run. I'd be.
I've got,
right
I've got
now.
heart issues. That'd kill me.
Added walls everywhere. Added walls.
Yeah, the haptic suits are crazy. Like the Void in Disneyland, they can actually do heat and like cold. They have like a Star Wars one when you walk in, you can feel lava, and then they have like a Spider-Man one now that you can feel the wind blowing on you now. Like it's crazy. Like get that aspect and get that one thing that like holds you up where you can walk, and then you don't have to use the sticks anymore. Like cut out all of motion sickness, dude. Player one, here we come.
I was doing a convention with the Nerfery, and the people next to me were doing their first convention with VR, and it was like they had like a plank of wood, and like you're on a skyscraper, and you can look straight down.
Yeah.
All their controllers by about halfway through the day were fucked up because people freaked out and were like falling and throwing them out, and they were like, "You would think to charge people."
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
People are like that freaked out about it, and I was like, "Those are expensive pieces." Oh,
It
fuck. And they were
messes.
like,
Yeah.
it was hilarious. Oh well, it sounds horrible, but yeah, it was interesting to see happen. Just kids, anybody, just people just going.
But that's why you
Yes.
have the straps.
No, they had straps, but people were
When
freaking out that much.
Like you feel you're falling. Like
Yeah,
it's,
well, that's it. People were falling on the floor.
yeah. I
They
definitely
had, they had to stop it. It was that.
I have a Spider-Man one, and like I was completely okay with all
Oh,
these VRs, playing all these ones, and I get up to the thing, it's like, all right, shoot your web and jump off. I'm like, I could do this. Right when I jumped, I damn near shit myself. I was like, "Ah." Like I got motion sickness. I had to take the headset off. First time I got motion sickness for my VR, I was like, ooh. Now that was intense. Like I couldn't imagine doing the plank. But then you also got your own fear of heights. But then, oh my god. Mm-mm.
Oh my god! If you get kicked in the balls in game with haptic feedback.
Oh no.
Thanks, Llama. Thanks for that.
Thanks.
Vibrating, or would it be a sharp pain? Because if it's vibrating, then you know you can kick me all day.
Just keep kicking.
Thanks, PvP.
Aw.
Just kicking
I'm
each
just gonna
other.
have to watch your channel,
That's
Llama. You're getting spicy now.
Just PvP and just kicking each other in the nuts, and you know they have the haptic suit. Like
Rochambeau fight. I'll Rochambeau you through it.
UFC games with haptic. I would love to have like Battlefield or Call of Duty with that. Oh
So
man.
Boneworks, I think, supports haptic feedback, and that was like one of the biggest. You know, I know it's completely off topic, but it's one of the biggest VR games in terms of like being able to do crazy stuff, like picking a brick up and fucking somebody from on high and killing them with it. You know, you don't really get that in most VR games.
Well, it's interesting because ultimately I've been looking at the Quest a lot recently, and I've been talking about it for about half a year. The only reason I've been holding off on getting one is because I keep hearing this rumors of a pro version coming out, or something coming out with Oculus Quest 3 or something like that. But that's mainly because I want to play games such as Valheim in in VR, which, you know, back to the survival
That'd be
theme, there's
fun.
been like a lot of these games where we're having games of Phasmophobia. I would love to play that with my, you know, with the group with the headset on. But you get an added, you know, it's unfair in that case because you actually get to have 2 items if you have the VR headset on rather than the
Hey,
one.
you're-
Yeah, you actually get to take two items if you play VR instead of one. So there's an added advantage to playing VR in that game.
It's okay. I'll just stay in the van. You can have my items.
So we got at my old flat with Mr. Downey, who's not sadly here. PlayStation VR, and I went through the It trailer. Holy fucking god! I was like rats, and I was jumping and screaming and all kinds of shit. And then yeah, we played. Is it that roller coaster game where you have to rush of blood? Where you're like,
Oh yeah.
and I'm standing like. And then Resident fucking then he bought me Resident Evil, and that was a fucking hoot. Like the neighbors came through asking if something was okay. There was a domestic. I was like, no,
Yeah.
just be screaming.
Resident Evil 7 in
Be screaming.
VR is
Yeah,
fantastic.
I met Mother that night, and she unleashed her bugs upon me, and that was me gone. And then the door was knocking.
That is the only time in a video game recently that I physically felt ill. Was Resident Evil 7
Like-
fighting the mother with the bugs when she was crawling and like throwing. I
was like,
with the flashlight. I physically felt ill. I was like, oh god, I can't. Oh god.
and I think my elbow smashed the wall a few times and stuff. So, yeah, I don't have space for VR. I really don't. But if I do, I will get fucking padding on every surface.
VR dungeon.
I'll help you install
Yeah.
it, mate.
VR dungeon.
I mean, there's other VR games. I mean, it was, you know, that I quite like sort of the space sim games where that would also be quite fun, such as sort of Star Wars X-wing sort of fighter
Yeah.
games. It just adds that extra level to it.
So I have like Star Wars Squadrons.
Oh,
that was
Godly
fun in
Dangerous.
VRs.
I've
That
also
was
got
pretty
Star
good.
Wars Squadrons.
Yeah, I did that with the joystick and the VR headset. And I was just like, this is phenomenal. That was pretty fun.
Stay on target. Stay on target.
Back on the target of horror, though, for horror VR games, I mean, there's a wide variety of them, and it's constantly growing. But there's been a couple of like absolute gems. The Exorcist, like that I mentioned, it was, what was it, Duck Hunt?
Duck Hunt.
Yeah,
Another
Duck Hunt,
great,
that's a pretty good one.
The horror duck hunt.
the
Yeah.
horror Duck Hunt,
Oh,
where
yeah.
like
Fuck
the
that
dog. Spoiler alert: the dog from a game basically comes out and tries to kill you in real life.
There's like 5 different endings to Duck Hunt because I got that one and I did all the 5 endings because my kid was like, "You need to get this game.
There's
It's gonna
7.
scare you so bad." There's 7. Okay, then I got 2 more I gotta do.
It's called Duck Hunt. Why would it be scary?
then-
Isn't
it's like you're.
Isn't that the game
you
from
get sucked
Nintendo
in.
where you shoot?
Yeah,
it's the one that-
you've got
with
the
the-
you pew pew, and then like the dog comes out. It's like, hey, I'll get the dog for you.
You see the dog and you have your wonderful
Yeah.
life. You just play Duck Hunt and just do
Yeah.
normal Duck Hunt. You get
Yeah.
Duck Hunt. But if you shoot the dog, you start what Duck Hunt's about, and that's
fuck?
everybody shoots the dog, and then the
Holy
dog
fuck.
is crazy because everybody shoots the dog,
My
and then it
God.
comes into this crazy stuff, and then you get into these crazy murder aspects, and then it's like you're just a little kid in your living room playing with toys, and it's like, let's play some more Duck Hunt, and then you can have these VHSs that you can put on, and it says it's like cryptic satanic stuff, dude. It's so good.
That's
it's-
not ruined
And your
for me
mother's,
now,
like,
Corbin.
behind you.
Oh.
Making
Everybody-
sandwiches, and all of a sudden she disappears, and then there's a
Yeah.
body, and you're like,
Uh,
Yeah,
No.
dude, it was good.
So what is everyone's favorite moment then, as we're in a sort of horror part? What is everyone's favorite moment in a horror game? Like, if you could pick out in all of the horror games that you've played, the point that has made you just go, that is amazing, and this is going to stick with me forever. Is there a specific game that's in that for you? Or a scene?
Visage. I actually have a clip from Visage where a ghost came through a door and basically grabbed me. I thought I was safe. I thought I was hiding completely fine. And the ghost literally came through a door and she had no jaw on and so on. I jumped out of my chair.
Flushing the toilet in Plasmophobia.
Oh, Andy, that I will never forget that fucking moment. I had to sacrifice myself. For me, there's too
Yeah.
many. I die a lot. There's too many. There's just a lot. I scare easily, and I fucking love it. That's
Oh
why I
yeah.
love these games. I'm scared so easily. I don't give a jump scares. In general, jump scares. I fucking love them.
I don't normally leave the van, but he lured me into the building.
It's like with something totally unexpected. Yeah, for me, it's like when things are just you think everything's fine, and then just something just a little thing happens, and then that's it. It's game over. I fucking love
Absolute
that.
chaos.
It goes from like cam to fucking game over. I love it. Game over, man. Game over. Guess it's just.
I mean, Cookie, you've played a lot of sort of more survival games. It's the same question for you as well. So is there a specific sort of moment in a survival game where you've just gone, this is my thing and I'm glad I'm doing it?
Making drinks.
I don't know, man. Like I just get happy when I see that there's a lot of stuff for me to explore and to build and craft. Like
And sort.
I'm happy if the game has a story and like something that you actually have to follow, because otherwise it just gets repetitive. But like just that it's big. Like there's a lot to do. Because I think that's what like puts me off like games like Left 4 Dead and sometimes Phasmophobia, because it's the same thing, same thing. But no, I don't like just
You're
probably
I think my knowledge for you is you're a progression monkey. You need
Yeah.
that progression.
yeah.
It doesn't matter what game it is, you need that sort of next thing. I think we've had this
Yeah.
discussion before where if there isn't that sort of an experience bar, or I need to, like, as you're playing at the moment, you're playing.
Unlocking stuff. Yeah.
Well, so
Yeah.
that's a problem with a lot of early access games. For instance, Valheim, myself and my friends finished that. We finished all the bosses that came out in that, whatever amount, like half a year ago at this stage. I haven't touched it since. And like afterwards, you just had to go, well, I could build loads of crazy shit, but there's other games to play. So you kind of move on.
So it's about
The
having
next thing.
It's the choice. I mean, I one of the things I got down is it's talking about sort of genres. Is within the horror genre, it's more about the fear factor, regardless if it's a jump scare or if it's that moment, such as being covered in bugs by Mother, for example, is a good example. Ugh. But
Sorry.
in survival, it's all in survival games. If there isn't another thing to do, you end up then just moving on to another survival game to get the same thing until you run out of things to do again.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
with survival games, they've got to be constantly updated. So they need to have people playing it to get the money, to get the support and the development to have more on it. And there's
Or
no
add mods,
mod support. Yeah.
There's very few survival games I play these days that don't have some amount of modding in them. Without that, I think they'd get extremely boring extremely quickly.
Andy, you're not eating cake yet.
Where's your cake, Andy?
Later.
your
Well,
cake?
I need another glass of wine and then cake.
Then cake.
Then
Okay,
cake.
just checking. It's cake check.
Check.
Knuckler, you got
Jeez.
people fleeing in the background.
Ooh, that's a good question.
Oh,
That's a
what's
good
it?
question.
Had to
Fire
get
it.
water.
Yeah.
Didn't want it to get up.
If you had to choose only one horror game to keep, what would you choose? Oh, fuck.
So, only one?
Only one. Fuck.
Pure horror.
Llama.
Horror.
Fuck.
I already threw my hat in right at the beginning.
Yeah,
It's
Dead by Daylight.
Yeah, but you,
No,
you're, no,
what?
no.
Bread and butter is Resident Evil. That's
Oh,
my
yeah.
bread and butter. Like that's I love
Resident Evil for
Resident Evil. If it's a Resident Evil game, I fucking own it. I got obsessed with that when I was a little kid on Resident Evil 1 and 2, playing on the PlayStation 1.
No, I did PlayStation 1. My the first two games I bought was Resident Evil and Space Hulk.
Oh, Space Hulk, I remember that. Mine was Resident Evil and Jumping Flash.
Oh,
No, it's really
Resident
good.
Evil.
that's
Crash
a
Bandicoot.
fucking hard question.
I like
An
Crash
horror
Bandicoot.
game to keep. The only horror game you have to keep.
I think
Yeah.
I'd go Forest.
You've not played
That
the
is a
Forest
good one,
much,
shit.
Andy.
I played a bit, but I don't particularly like horror games, and there's a lot of survival elements to it.
No.
7
Yeah,
days.
that's true.
I mean, okay, fair enough.
You can classify that.
One horror game,
What?
and
Oh,
I recently played a lot of indie horror
No,
games.
I can't. Oh God, my brain.
You've
for
decided to
replayability
destroy the
or-
streamers question. Yeah.
Thanks, Llama.
Oh, it's
Thanks.
Llama. Okay. Yeah.
Yep. Llama's destroyed the stream with that one simple question of pick a horror game, and that's the only one you're ever gonna have. Oh, and we're welcome. Thanks, Llama. No, I can't.
Yeah, I'd have to go for Resident Evil. Like that.
No, I can't. I can't do it.
It takes me back.
Okay.
There's just so
Okay.
much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like,
I can. SNES. Zombies ate my neighbors. There we go. Zombies ate my neighbors on SNES. Done.
But
If you
no,
don't know it, Google it. Fucking amazing game.
no,
Co-op,
they said
amazing.
they said one game. So which Resident
one
Evil
game.
then?
One game. Yeah, one game. Llama was specific. You have to keep one game.
which Resident Evil?
Which Resident? So yeah, you can't because that could be the whole
Yeah.
franchise. So which one? You're not getting away now.
Oh my god, there's so much.
Oh, torture!
Had to, it'd be the second one because that's the most memorable for me.
Remake or
Because
original?
Original. Like that is the cornerstone of everything that brought me into my horror, because that game led me into zombie games, and then I got into my crazy zombie teens, and I was like, why the fuck do I like zombies? Like there's other crazy ass stuff out there. Let's go find out. And that's what led me going into the aspect of the crazy government and T-virus, and then I was like, okay, cool, let's go play Resident Evil again. But
And let us not speak of the movies.
yeah, don't speak of the movies. They're actually remaking all that, so that's all getting wiped clean. They're actually doing a whole new reboot called Welcome to Raccoon City, and that was
Mila
really
Jovovich
fucking
still
sick.
in it? Because that's the
No,
only good
nobody.
thing.
I've got an interesting answer to this.
Taking her completely out.
My answer is Alien versus Predator.
Yes.
And-
Oh, we have history with that.
And this is
That's a
mainly
good one.
Oh, which one?
We have history.
the original one that came out in about 2002, I think.
I remember it's our living room.
Yeah, we LAN partied
surf.
up, and we had all of us playing on it, and it's a multiplayer game because if I'm not playing with other people, I don't get the same feeling. But the amount of horror I had from one of our close friends who just was the most amazing predator, the amount of times I crapped
she
myself.
Destroyed us.
She destroyed us, absolutely destroyed us every
She
single
destroyed
time.
us.
So
Okay.
shout out to Claire. So she destroyed us every time, and she would taunt us. We would walk along.
She would net your teammate in front of you, just to show you, like you're fucked and you can't do anything about it.
I
and then
have
fuck
it
you
here
over.
in the room somewhere. I still on CD still.
CD. Oh, you old cunt.
Yeah,
Pretty sure I
yeah.
had it on PlayStation or something.
I think I might have it on Steam. I mean,
Why
if
don't
we're
we
doing
play it
EVP
together?
night, we should do an EVP night.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
could
we
do
should
an
play
AVP
that.
night. But I think that's a bit of an interesting choice because for me it's
That's
not.
something Potato can run.
It's more multiplayer horror.
Yeah,
I
not
think in this
survival.
case.
But it's still survival because you're trying to. See, what is survival? Is it about?
Well, then, like, what was it Alien Isolation Fireteam?
Ooh,
that's
is that
coming
the
out
one
soon.
coming out?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm excited.
It'll be
I'm excited. Oh yeah, we should stream
Like,
the fuck out of that.
I'm a huge fan of the Alien and Predator universe. I've read the lore, I've watched all the movies, I've watched all the analysis of the movies, and read the comics and so on. And that you want horror, Alien Isolation, the game.
Yeah.
On
That's a
nightmare
good one.
mode. You want
Yeah.
to shit yourself properly. You play it on nightmare mode, and you make any sound, and the thing just comes out the fucking walls and eats you.
I've already had someone in chat saying AVP night just to let me know.
Is that one in
Oh.
VR?
There is one. There is a mod to make it in VR, but you can't see your feet.
Oh,
no! One thing I want to see is my feet.
That's a
I
worthless
can't
game
see
right
my
there.
feet. I can't fucking do shit.
Phasmophobia, you can't see your feet. You're just a belt. You look down, you just see a belt. You're like, okay, cool. I'm a ghost myself.
Ghost.
no.
I'm going to say
Ghost,
something
um,
personal about aliens, though. It's the only thing that used to give me nightmares as a kid.
What?
Honest to God nightmares. I used to have repeated nightmares about Geiger's aliens. And my
See, for
brother,
me, it was,
my brother was such a cunt. He was like, what, maybe 12? And
your
he
brother's
would,
so young and sweet, though.
but he used to get the toys, the Mattel aliens. He had the giant bull alien.
yeah.
I'm sure
Yeah.
the
But
fucker
you're the
got it
older
on
brother. You shouldn't be
purpose.
afraid of that.
No, but I'm not really. I look at them and I'm not a problem. But I used to get nightmares of it actually getting me. And I was like, I don't get it. I watch the films. I hate, see them as an adult. I don't have those nightmares anymore. But as a kid, it fucked me up.
I used to put the Rancor monster at the bottom of my dusty bin and cover it with my He-Mans because I thought he'd come out and get me when I slept. And if anyone is not from the 80s, you would not understand half of that.
Yeah.
Rancor monster, He-Man, dusty bin.
Is there any horror movies that people don't want that triggers them? Because mine is Event Horizon.
Oh, you have no fucking clue. You have no fucking
triggers me.
Oh, let us.
Funnily enough, that
You were
movie
not
did
in Dundee.
terribly in the box office,
We
got
don't.
slated by critics, and became a massive cult following. Like to this day, it's
The
Let-
Warhammer movie.
Let us. See, the next time that you're talking to Mr. Downey, mention Event Horizon.
Oh, it gives me the heebie-jeebies.
That's a good one.
You will get an interesting story because I can't watch it ever again after that night. And just he won't go into details because it was horrifying, but he will just say yes. He will confirm it. But no fucking way ever again. No fucking way.
So there we go.
Yeah.
Event Horizon triggers more than just me, it seems.
Yeah. I like that. I'm not necessarily triggered. The one that's triggered me the most from growing up that's feared a lot of fear in my life is arachnophobia. Like when that movie first came out, it was
Just
it was supposed to be a comedy. It was supposed to be like a funny comedy.
It's a comedy
Kinda,
movie.
when you watch it as a yeah, when you watch it now, but when you're like a little kid, you're like, they're killing, they're dying, that thing is jumping, oh my god, and just like if you play a horror game, like, oh yeah, definitely, I'm fucked right now. I can't fucking do my shit.
Saying that.
Nightmare
What?
on Elm Street. I
Oh.
saw as a very young kid.
Oh, I'm with
refused to
Corvus.
sleep for days.
My auntie showed her daughter horror films when she was very young, younger than me, and Nightmare on Elm Street was one of them. I used to go around every Sunday. We used to see the family, and Nightmare on Elm Street was on like 2 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon in the family kitchen, and I was forced to watch it with my young cousin. And no, I was fucking horror, all kinds of shit. No, I was
one
like
that
fucking
affected me-
7. Why was I? No. Sorry, I'm just
One
saying
that
that.
affected me the most,
Oh,
for the
sorry.
longest period of time at least, going about my day-to-day life, was Teeth, if anyone's seen that one.
Teeth.
Oh yeah, I've seen that
Oh.
one.
No, it's good teeth.
Yeah, I've hesitated a lot in my life after seeing that.
Yeah, exactly. That's the.
That's that one. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't
Choppers.
think I have any like triggering horror movies, but like my like I'm in love with the Conjuring universe. I love those movies.
They're very
There's a new one
interesting.
coming out.
Yep.
They're very, very
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. I just love
Especially
the
all the horror movies that are like they seem like they're based on real
Real
stuff,
life, yeah.
or
Yeah.
they
No.
are actually based on it.
Yeah, because I'm dabbling in real life paranormal investigation stuffs. Yeah, they're very interesting. Very interesting.
That
We
would
gotta
be
go
an
do some of that.
interesting fucking horror game. Would be a Conjuring VR horror game. Like I'd play the fuck out of that. Going in
There-
and like
There is
Having
a
a big
Conjuring
demons?
horror game. I thought there was a
is
Conjuring.
there
Yeah.
that one I don't know of. If there is, I'm copping that.
But
That'd
yeah,
be fun to play.
I think I've spoken to a few people about doing some exploring and other things on a different channel for the future. So
So watch this
Oh, I'm
space.
getting in on
Watch
that.
this space.
yeah. If you
Ghost
never
busting.
see me again, you know something's eating me. So
The other thing that triggers me, and other than that, is body horror films. And I'm
body
talking.
horror.
Now-
Show your bodies at you.
Well, no,
J-
it's like
Jigsaw.
Cronenberg movies such as
Ooh.
Videodrome and all of these sort of weird 80s ones like Scanners, and where
Oh,
all the
Scanners.
bodies and all the bodies start shifting in weird shapes and
Sorry.
that's the noises
I'm,
they
I'm
make.
triggering you. I'm sorry. I'm triggering you. I apologize.
Oh, I don't know. It's like in Videodrome. There's a point where like his flesh in his arm turns into like a pistol, and it just gives me the sort of. I just don't deal with body horror very well. I just go, nope, I'm out of this. Nope, no, thank you.
Human
What
centipede.
about like body horror, like Hellraiser, like where it has the people with the opened up chests with the exposed organs, or there's also like another kind of body horror. Have you ever seen Strangeland with Dean Schneider? Like that kind of body horror. Are you okay with that, or is that kind of like the aspect of the body horror?
I don't know. I think a part of it could be also the cinematography of it, right? Because in when this is an interesting one because I in some of the sort of horror movies or action horror movies where it's just so over the top, it then becomes more, for me, a bit more comedic, because then you can go, well, I can absolutely see the makeup here, and you can see it's so over the top. It's not realistic in any way. Even with sort of Hellraiser, where the flesh is all like stretched out with great big things, and it doesn't look real enough to make it trigger that sense of horror. But something with that sort of
Saw
hair.
movies.
The Saw movies are a little bit like that, but even then, that's got a little bit over the top to a point where it no longer becomes real.
Saw, like Saw 1, that.
Yeah,
I thought
That one was
done
pretty
well.
intense. The foot scene, that was pretty intense.
So the Hostel as well. That was similar. Yeah,
Someone
like
mentioned
really high-
Rotocop. Ugh. Driller Killer.
Yeah, that one.
Old school ones.
I'm gonna take a Japanese twist and go Audition.
Actually, even the original Battle
Audition
Royale.
is fucking just with the needles in the eyes for me.
Well, that would be another one too.
That vicious
No.
movie.
You want a terrifying movie? The original Japanese Ring. If
Oh,
you,
dude,
you
yes.
want to shit yourself
I
properly?
like that. I love
that
that
was
film.
good.
I love it. I don't get scared by it. I just love it.
The original Ring
Ringo.
or the Grudge,
Ringo.
the Japanese version? It's
Ringo.
I'm to it. Like, so that and like Hammer horror films. I love them so much. I appreciate them so much. I don't get scared. I just love them. I fucking love them. I get scared, but it's not in like it's hard to explain. But no,
It's
I
a
fucking
scare.
just.
It's not a bad
Yeah,
scare.
it's a good. It's like a pure good, heart-to-heart scare. It's like you and the film connect. Hammer horror films. I fucking love Hammer horror films. Peter Cushing. Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
Sort of nowadays it's sort of seen as being a bit camp, sort of camp horror.
See, well, yeah, well, I'm old school, and yeah, you could be like, oh, yep, they've been in the tavern for 5 hours and they've not eaten anything and stuff like that, and the castle's over there, but they're over here now and stuff. No, it's classic fucking horror when people didn't know how to do stuff, and that's how they were pioneering it. No, Hammer horror, fucking love it.
There we go. Foot down.
end of discussion.
Hammer
That's
horror.
it, people. That's We John Gaming has put their foot down on Hammer horror films. They're camp, but they're lovely. I love them. It's historical horror. Historical horror. Historical
Actually,
British
most
horror.
modern horror isn't scary though.
Not
That's-
now.
Depends how
yeah, like-
desensitized you've been.
Even like horror games, only recently did they start getting scary again. So many horror games were just there's your jump scare, and that's it. There's like no
jump scare.
psychological aspect to it. That's why I loved games like Visage. I'm currently playing through The Beast Inside, which was a Kickstarter game. Holy shit! I have not been so scared in a game in a long time, because just the psychological build-up of the story around what happens, and the jump scares aren't big. They're just really well done.
See, that's good. That's what I like about that. I felt like I was gonna get that with the Evil Within, but I'm like halfway through it, and it's just basically coming to a bash fest. I'm just beating things to death, and I'm like, okay, cool. Let's just kill everything before I'm killed. All right. And it's not really that much of a horror aspect where I was looking for.
That's why Resident Evil 8, or Village, should I say, was
Yeah.
like, it's more of a shooting Resident Evil rather than a I need to survive because the zombies are going to eat me. Resident Evil.
7 felt like that. 7 felt like I need to fucking survive. I don't know what's going on. I'm gonna die. And 8 felt more of like when 3 and when 1, 2, and 3 became 4, 5, and 6, where it's like, all right, now we're just gonna murder everything. And you're just kind of like, okay, well, I don't know what necessarily I want to be. I want the scaring aspect, because there was a part in Resident Evil Village where I was going through and I was just like, okay, well, now I'm a god because I have a shotgun with like a bunch of ammo. So let's just go through and just mob it through. But we're like 3 and all those guys, yeah, those shit scares me because it's, you know, puzzles. I like the puzzles.
So yeah, puzzles. That's an interesting one to bring up. Is then that's the game aspect of the genre, right? Because ultimately it could just be a horror simulation where you're just sort of a person running around a house. The gaming aspect is the interactivity and the actual being able to do things in a world, right? And this even comes out, even in the survival things, is that you have to do something to survive, whether it's in the horror genre where it's running away, as I watched in one of Corvus's streams, running down hallways being chased by psychos in an old hotel, which was quite interesting to see.
What was that game?
Didn't it have like an apartment in it?
No,
The
it
title?
was all in a hotel in England.
With the
At Dead of Night. Yeah.
But then, yeah, again, the horror aspect of survival games is that first bit where you're trying to solve how am I going to survive, finding out, crafting, these sort of things. That's that aspect of it. But
Puzzle.
most of this discussion is about how excited we've been getting about these old horror films, these sort of things that drive that emotional aspect of what we enjoy. Do you think that recently they've been getting the balance right between, I mean, you brought up Resident Evil, it's become too shooty, but you're saying Resident Evil 2 is your favorite. So it sounds that the fact is that potentially then they're not hitting those buttons, which of what's made that genre so great.
They're not hitting the buttons because they're not going with any story. You don't have any puzzles. You don't have the what if of like, how do I figure out? That's what I like about horror games, which basically same thing with survival games. It's all of how do I get from point A to point B, but there's no instructions. It's just figure it out. And you're like, okay. And then what Resident Evil Village, what they did with the newer games is they're going the aspect of like 4, 5, and 6. There wasn't the more of the wonder, like when you go to the door, you're like, okay, I gotta go find the clover key. All right, we'll run into that eventually. And then you just going on that wonder that I don't know what's coming next, where 8 eventually became, okay, I'm going to go kill this guy. Oh, it's like, I got to go kill these 5 things. Okay, cool. Well, let's go kill these 5 things in the linear pattern and then get my little kind of story. Oh, you gave me my twist at the end. Sweet. I liked like where Resident Evil 2 and stuff, you get half the story in the beginning. You're like, well, none of this makes sense. Like, I know, like, okay, so they're doing something here. Some science stuff, whatever. There's zombies everywhere. We'll figure it out. Everyone's dead. And then you
start a beginning and not quite an end, but some connecting pieces.
And then with like what they did with the newer games, what they went with 8 is like linear. I don't like linear horror unless it's like, I don't know. I like I get to choose where I'm going because then it gives me the aspect of I could totally fuck myself. Like, you're not supposed to be in here yet. And then you're just like, okay, cool, I'm in there. Where Resident Evil 8 became basically like, go this path. Oh, none of the doors open. Yeah, because none of the doors open because you got to go this path. Where Resident Evil 2 was every single door opened. And there was paths that went down and up and left and right. You're just like, okay. And then you got to remember, like, okay, was that back over here? And I just feel that they're not hitting that right now because they're trying to go too much to battle royale and shooter kind of aspect games. They're trying to go too much on that hype, and they think that horror people want that with just a little bit of jump scares, where it's not. We want a story. We want in depth. Like the Beast Inside doesn't. It's not scary because you're running around like I know what to do. It's because you have the like, oh my god, I'm doing something, and then something busts in. You're like, oh, duh, fuck, and then you have to figure that out. Where a lot of some horror games, like when I started replaying Fear, it was very linear with jump scares, and I was like, this is not the kind of horror game that I'm looking
The
for.
original
This is
Fear,
more-
so the first-person shooter where it had the small
Yeah.
girl. Yes, I remember
Yeah.
that. I played the multiplayer. That was mostly what I played on that one.
I remember
Yeah.
early on when you're coming up the lift, all of a sudden she just appears as soon as the doors open from the lift, she just appears for a second. I unloaded so much ammunition into that little girl, and then I was fucked for the rest of the level.
Murderer.
Mine
Do you think we're
was
being dumbed down to any degree?
Dumbed down. That's a good question. Do you think we're...
There's hand holding, I think, more so than dumbing it down. There's too much hand holding in a lot of games these days.
Yeah, and I see that in my younger son when he plays games, because I make him play older games, and he's like, I don't know what to do. I'm like, you got to figure it out. He's like, what do you mean I got to figure it out? I'm like, because I play games that he plays, and it's like, pick this up, cool. Now walk over here, insert in here, sweet. Now get ready for the jump scare. Ah! You're like, ha 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 ha, and you keep going. And that's what they're trying to get. Is I don't like these. I do feel like they're trying to dumb it down because they don't think people are going for stories. They think that we're there for the action when we're necessarily not there for the action. Like, I'm not there. I don't watch horror movies for like seeing how much explosions happen. I have the wonder of like, why the fuck is all this happening? Why is this person like, why is Jason slaughtering all these people? I like that aspect. It's not necessarily that I'm there for the explosions and the killing.
I remember
I think
games
that's
that I
what
used
they
to
do.
play that had like walkthroughs in the box, and they're like that
Mhm.
thick. I like, without this, I'm fucked. I cannot work
Yeah.
this game out. But imagine trying to run any of those games that had those walkthroughs that you played with without the walkthrough. You just lost constantly. I mean, it'd be fun, but I
Mhm.
just didn't have the patience as a kid to do that.
Horror puzzle
No.
games.
Old man stream, everybody, just so you know. We're all old farts, and
Like
my day,
this.
we didn't have this hand holding, and
Back in my day.
I mean, I do fancy giving some of those
Andy
games a
are
go
young.
now.
Cookie and Andy
without-
are young. Don't put them into our category.
oh, sorry, Cookie. Yeah, he's a baby. Look at his face.
Look at that
Um,
sweet cookie face.
I've lived forever, so you know, part of my memory is
Andy's,
gone.
oh, look at that. You just want to like squeeze that face till it explodes.
It's quite interesting because I see myself more as an action gamer, right? It sounds really hard compared to sort of survivalist or these sort of stuff, because I play... My game of choice, and always has been my game of choice, is Battlefield, for example. And I've never been a Call of Duty fan. It's always been Battlefield. It's always been strategy games. It's always been... And then recently, I've really grown into the sort of building aspects of survival games. Horror games has never been... as much as I enjoy watching it, and that's the thing, but I've never really been able to experience. I never had a PlayStation 2, so I never really managed to, because my flatmates hogged it and played fucking GTA 3 to death.
You can't blame them.
No, I can't. They had the flat to themselves, and I was busy.
See, I came around. We did cheese toasties. We played
Yep.
GTA.
Yeah. So
I could go with some cheese.
there we go. Yep. But I on my own personal computers and stuff like that, I've always played more. Because when I come home from work, I just wanted to pick up something, de-stress on an evening, and come back. I never really could get into a horror game because they usually require time to play, especially during like the early 2000s. They needed time. And I couldn't really get into it because I would come home from work at like 9 o'clock after a late close or something like that. And I just like, I can't. No, I can't do it. I'll just pass out.
Slip into horror so easily. So easy.
You see, it's a slippy slope, is it, John?
No,
So-
no, I just no. I mean, I can just.
Well
go,
looked.
That's me. I'm instantly scared.
So for me, I enjoy a lot of the action horror stuff. So that's where I go into like Left 4 Dead. And I go in for Left 4 Dead 1 and 2. I loved it, and I loved the multiplayer as much as insane it got on my local LAN parties that we played Left 4 Dead.
I love mods.
Yeah, I saw some of your mod stuff recently. It's been fantastic. If everyone go into Knuckler Games to look at some of these mod videos, they're quite good. And
Oh, you saucy bitch.
it,
I'm
I'm just
making
gonna
some
pop
weird
off
ass
and get myself a
ones.
drink quickly. My coffee back in.
but that's the sort of where my sort of introduction, and I see myself falling into those slippery slopes because Twitch has allowed me now to watch horror streams a lot more often and be a part of this sort of horror. But even Dead by Dead by Daylight I can't get into because it seems that the learning curve as a survivor is so high. And
my hole.
yeah,
It's
I
a
can't get into
game
it.
built for killers. That's how I feel.
You can't get
They-
into my
they-
hole.
I can't get into your hole. So where
Well,
did this come
I
from?
made my hole as comfy as possible for you.
So
What more can I do?
oh, John.
Is that 7
well-
days to die is the holes, but then that's the crafting and building aspect, which I really get love to bits. It's like human leg. It's like Lego. I fucking love Lego.
I just
So-
want you to like
Yeah.
my hole. That's all I want.
What we need is like horror and Lego mashed together.
Minecraft.
Everyone to enjoy
Really
it.
nice. Yeah,
Everyone, no.
There are horror
never play
mods for
Minecraft.
Minecraft.
Never play
Like,
like what do you
Minecraft.
mean? Like, to make it
Never.
more spooky than it already is? Like when you're
Yeah,
sitting there mining in the dark and you hear like stepping, and you're like, I'm the only one here.
There is the Thing mod where the Thing starts infecting random mobs in the world, and they start attacking you, and you have to kill them before they infect everything else. So it becomes like a whole survival thing where every X amount of days, all the things that
would
are
be fun.
infected.
That would be
Come
fun.
on.
You get infected and then not tell anybody and be like, yeah, guys, I'm fucking cool. Don't even worry. And then be like, kind of like an Among Us kind of situation.
Oh,
That's where. So we're kind of going into the sort of a position where we've got so much experience now on what we really want. What would be the perfect game? What would be the perfect
Pumpkins.
survival pumpkin game? There we go.
Pumpkins.
You and your pumpkins.
All the pumpkins.
What, so do they attack? So from the pumpkins, John. What do they do?
Yeah, pumpkins. Yeah, switch to somebody else, please. Pumpkins. So
I don't
many
know.
pumpkins.
The perfect horror game, it'd be hard. It'd have to have a good story. It'd have to be a good mystery. Have to do something with spirits and shit because physical horror is not as scary as like running away from a ghost coming through the walls. Because then you're just like, oh my god, I'm completely lost. You throw in like that with like, I kind of like the aspect of the new run and hide that they're coming out with, where you don't necessarily have a weapon, but I'd also like the ability to every once in a while to be able to defend myself, because there's sometimes when you're just like, man, I'm tired of this. I'm just gonna beat this guy to death and I'm gonna continue on with my day. But there's a lot to hit. But something like that, something where if we used pumpkins, like pumpkins' heads going on people and taking over the world, and then you are like a person that's trying not to get seen by pumpkins by getting pumpkin heads put on you, and you have to fight there to go find the Grand Pumpkin Scheme, and it ends up that the Grand Pumpkin Scheme is actually the government that genetically modified food, and they were trying to go infiltrate another country to get something, and that went over and controlled and took over the world. It's like, you need the
I think we have a
mystery.
game right here in the making. We should approach a studio or an indie developer right now. We have a pumpkin horror game. You'll sell millions.
I'm gonna faint.
Like, it'd have to hit a lot of things, but you got the stealth, you have to have the fear factor, you have to have replayability. You'd also have to appease people like Lettuce, like that wants the action. So you want to make sure you have guns in there and you have stuff going like that. You also want to keep people like me who are there for the story, so you have to have it in story. And what the hardest thing that I find with a lot of horrors right now that they're finding is the story. I'm not finding stuff that's engulfed. Like the end, they're always like, "It was you the entire time." And you're like, "Yay!"
give
I'm
me
like,
a
I already know.
proper SCP game.
Sorry.
Give
Give
me
you-
a proper SCP Foundation game.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I've been like listening to back and forth to work.
He's got lots of good shit.
Just oh man, I love that. And there
That's
there are
big
there are a
background
few
stuff.
games. There are a few good games, but they just need to make it better. Like more SCPs, because the thing is they keep putting in the same SCPs every time. It's Peanut, it's the Shy Guy, it's the freaking Void Grandpa and the
Like what
Doctor.
Knuckler, it's like what Knuckler was saying about Dead by Daylight. They've got their own stuff, but if they just added some other things, they could get a lot more
So
attention.
they sort of
there's a
expanded.
lot.
Could you explain SCP? I mean, I've dipped my toe into SCP, but could you explain it to like the viewers who might never have ever have seen or heard of SCP at all?
I'll let Cookie start.
Yeah. So I don't know how it actually started, because it kind of feels like it started with creepypastas that got like categorized. Like the Shy Guy. It's basically a monster that sits in a corner and cries. And if you see his face, even if you see like a picture or a video or somebody drew his face, he's gonna find you. Like there's nothing that can stop him from finding you and kill you. And basically, the SCP Foundation is a very old foundation, or like a
Worldwide.
group, worldwide agency that tries to find all these like weird stuff that is going on. Yeah, like
all the weird stuff.
all the weird stuff, and like contain, like SCP, secure, contain, protect. I'm pretty sure.
Crimson King.
Yeah,
You've got,
there was a game,
the Crimson King's a nasty fuck.
SCC-19.
Yeah,
I
I've got
played.
that. Yeah, I've been playing that.
Yeah, and then that was the aspect, and I liked that. And then you had to run away from that. I forgot what you had to run away from.
And you have
but it like disappear and it goes faster, and you had different ones.
I like the fact that the things they come up with are so weird, weird and specific. And just like your brain,
like
just like
Spider-Man, stuff like that.
Yeah, your brain fixates on it.
Yeah,
it's like it's like viruses, extraterrestrial stuff, supernatural. It's like just Google SCP. Yeah, just Google it.
SCP.
It's a lot of good stuff.
Yeah. Check that out. And just
for horror.
Because there are like a few games from like the SCP universe that combines just everything that Knuckler just said. That there are guns if you just want to try and shoot stuff, but most of it is going to be try to run and hide and like puzzles, try to get everything.
There was an MMO. There was an SCP MMO. I was sure.
Yep. Corvus, you're right.
Strange World or something like that.
I think it was Strange World. I think you're right.
It's like a fountain of like just crazy tales of things.
Yeah.
Weird ass things. And it's just like they're well done. They're really
so
well done.
I'm looking now at their webpage.
Yeah.
And there's some very strange stuff on here.
Oh yeah. You've got black holes, you've got computers that can do things, you've got like a fucking fortune-telling gypsy thing that will fuck you up.
Yeah. Just go in on their webpage, press random. Yeah. Just get a randomity. And the thing is, it's not just about like the items that they're trying to contain, it's the staff that they're using. Like they're using prisoners to test all these stuff, and like
D-class prisoners. D-class prisoners they're called.
And the fire teams and like the council and administrator that are actually running this, they're whack as well. Like they drank from the whole youth.
Yeah, it's a whole subculture. It's really interesting.
Yep. I love it. And there are actually a few very nice YouTube videos, like short films on YouTube. SCP Overlord is great.
Facebook has a channel, and they do cartoons. I've been watching, because there's that D-class personnel that his gift is like he reincarnates himself, so they send him into dangerous situations.
Yep.
And then he something kills him and then he comes back. So it's like it's really good to watch. I'm glad that somebody else has seen it, not just me and not crazy. Thanks, Cookie. Love you.
There you go. So have a look on, if you like creepypastas, SCP Foundation. I just let these two rant for 5 minutes. It's quite good. It's just like, this is just so much fun, because I mean, looking at the webpage, I'm quite more. I kind of want to have a look a bit more. But
crazy shit.
How would they bringing? I think they've tried games though, Cookie. They have tried games, but none of them have been any. Let's just say that they've been crap. I've tried them. They are not very good. They are absolutely shite.
It's the people they picked to do the game.
Yeah, that's probably it. Like, you probably need not like a top tier studio, but like somebody that actually knows about this stuff. And as I said, because the thing is, they've done a lot of these games, but they keep picking the same freaking SCPs, same things. It's a D class going in, it's a containment breach. You have to escape this and this
It's
and
the
this.
plague doctor with the zombies all the
Yeah.
fucking time. Blah
Yeah.
blah blah. I just want the teddy bear that
Mm.
like screams and turns all your internal organs into ears. That's fucking
I
awesome.
remember the one game that I played had a music box that would drag you in.
Yeah.
You hear it play, and it would
Oh,
suck you in, and
there's-
you keep you in, and you gotta fight it. And you're like, oh no, I don't want to do this.
Mm.
There's tons of like sweet,
Yeah.
sweet haunted ideas
Yeah.
built into this.
And I mean,
Oh.
it doesn't even have to be like you're in, because they have all these sites where some of the SCPs are contained. Like there's millions of sites, not millions, but
It's
there's
Harvest Frozen.
sites everywhere.
Hmm?
And
No.
All right.
Like
No,
it,
it's
it
very
doesn't have
still.
to be like you're in
It's
there.
like-
You could be a fucking fire team trying to gather up SCPs from outside of the world, like just going into another dimension or like going
Ooh,
back in
yeah.
time. Because
Yeah,
there's
there's
so
some-
much to do in this universe.
It's totally crazy. Everything that you've got, it's like, oh yeah, like the Crimson
And
thing is.
It's like the Cthulhu universe. There's
Yeah.
so many
Yeah.
games around the
And,
Cthulhu
like,
universe.
Yeah, and the thing is, you have Cthulhu pretty much in this universe as well. Like
Yeah.
that's an SCP as well.
He is a yeah, he is. Oh, there's two because there's the fake Cthulhu. Because there's the entity that makes people think it's Cthulhu, and then there's the other. Then there's proper Cthulhu. Sorry, I've mentioned a lot of this.
That's
And
crazy.
me and Cookie are taking over the stream now. Sorry.
Fake.
I'll have an
I
SCP
gotta look that
stream.
one up.
Yep.
Nah.
Yep. Well, we could do that. We could do it in the future.
I just got this mental
Someone
image
in
of
chat
a.
just mentioned there should be an IKEA SCP.
There is. There is.
Oh,
There is. There is. It's a whole city. You go in and you never leave, and
Yeah.
like there's fake staff, and they come
Just
at
have
you, and
to
you have to like
make
build shelters.
Yeah, it is a
See?
survival game.
It
This is a
is.
survival building game in
Yeah,
IKEA.
that is an SCP. Is the endless IKEA. We're
Well,
not
That's
making
good.
this up.
No,
This is like
I
both of
act-
us
I
are
act-
reacting at the same time. So
Yeah,
you know it's
because I actually.
yeah,
clicked
it's
that,
oh,
Oh man.
Cookie, I love you more than I
So,
ever did before.
so what's going on is that people taking a ton of acid and then just writing shit in, because that's what it's sounding like. Sorry,
exactly what it
a teddy bear that screams and turns people's guts into ears. That
then,
sounds.
and then it takes their bodies and turns them into other
so-
teddy bears,
Yeah,
and then they
exactly.
spread.
So
There's an airstrip
Or like-
that eats people. There's an
There's one
airstrip,
that-
and it's like
the-
vacant, and it's for sale, and you go in, and it eats you.
The horn creature that like you hear like I forgot what that one's called. I've heard that one where it's like got a big horn and it comes up to you, and I don't know if it just screams at you until you die, but yeah, it's like you know something's
It's an
coming on.
alarm.
No,
Andy, you shut up about your fucking alarms.
No, I'm just looking. Sorry, I've been distracted by Andy on stream because he's been eating his cake while staring at us. So it's just like, no.
I've been looking away from Jesus. I've been looking away. There's
Sharing
also
is
a
caring, Andy.
mountain.
Sharing
There's
is
a
caring.
mountain. There's a mountain with worm creatures, and
Yeah.
I'm
there's
with
like an
Medicine
endless
Listen. Someone
staircase.
took a lot of acid and just
there's
started
an
writing.
endless, there's an endless staircase. A staircase that just keeps going down.
I would love like a D&D role playing game with this. I would love.
I mean, yeah, I'm deranged enough to GM it.
I mean,
Yeah,
we've
do it.
deviated a bit from the perfect game. I mean, ultimately,
It's
it's just
horror.
Oh
it's,
shit! What are we talking about?
Everything
We're talking about something.
possible.
it's just gone. If we think that anything is possible using SCP, just thinking that it's just more about what could. I mean, thinking back at some of the most amazing events again that we've had in sort of survival and horror, and what everything is driven by that sort of fear aspect, which is addictive, right? Because I mean, effectively, adrenaline as a whole is an addictive brain drug, and we produce it ourselves. And all of you people, everything I've heard tonight has been, oh my God, this is amazing. But at the time, I was shitting my pants. But I want to have that experience again.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But
God, if I
what?
could wear diapers all the time, I would.
Just swimming in feces.
It's all right. In
Yeah,
about
yeah.
30 years, John, we'll all be wearing diapers as we as we go into our pension.
Techno diapers.
It just
No,
sucks it
it's
right out
just-
of you.
It's
John's just going full John.
Yeah.
No diapers, no nothing.
No,
Nope.
I'm just gonna like poop into a hole in the floor.
To sit
That's what I
on
would do.
Gonna be me. Yep, me and you,
You just-
Knuckler.
You
Holes in
dig
the
a
floor.
hole, you poop in it, and then you bury
Yeah,
it.
and that's it. Just
Dig a hole, poop in it, and then you bury it.
Duckler, there's a dog upside down doing stretches on your couch.
Yeah, she's sleeping. See, she's sleeping.
Oh,
Are you sure it's not just died on you?
No, I'm positive. She's definitely alive. I grabbed a ball and moved it. She'd be into it. She was sleeping earlier. She was like straight legging it, sleeping. She sleeps in the weirdest ways. I think it's the pit bull in her.
What
there
type
was
is it?
points I thought Andy wasn't.
What,
What type
Space
of dog?
Jesus or
Yeah.
It's a Siberian Husky mixed with
I thought he'd left us for
Oh, cool.
another dimension.
a.
right? So I think that's time for more questions from the stream. That's actually we actually went a little bit longer than that time, so because we got so wrapped into SCP.
Oh yeah. Oh god. Like it seems me and Cookie could just bore
John.
people
I
to
mean,
death.
after this, I start
Yeah,
work late.
Are we
so...
are we gonna have like are we gonna have an SCP marriage? So
Oh
that's-
yeah.
Baby.
Mm.
You're my
I gotta go stuff in my Unreal and start fucking making base models.
Yeah, there we go.
It's the statue, and you look at it, and it stays still. And if you blink,
fucking
it
blink.
goes behind you and breaks your neck.
Yeah.
Was
Yeah,
that not
you
just
know, Cookie.
Doctor Who?
Doctor
Doctor Who.
From
Doctor Who.
That's from
That's
Doctor Who. And
Yeah, that's
those are-
Doctor Who.
Yeah.
No,
That's
no,
the
no.
Weeping
It's
Angel.
Weeping Angel.
That's
No, they did-
Weeping
they
Angel.
did the Weep- No, they did it before the Weeping
But this,
Angels.
Come on, guys. Don't talk over each other.
Is another thing. This Peanut SCP-173 is a whole nother thing.
He's a peanut. He's a peanut
Yeah.
statue.
He's called Peanut because he looks like a peanut.
Corvus,
He's
you haven't seen the peanut.
Actually created by the Foundation.
Okay. So do we have any questions from the stream? Otherwise, I'll bring up another question
I think I've traumatized my chat. I'll check with.
on
Isn't
SCP.
that your every stream?
Well, I'd like to think some people are being or resilient. No, they're all traumatized.
They're absolutely traumatized.
Yeah.
My chat's
let's
traumatized
do it.
too.
Yeah. Mine. Well, one of mine is thinking.
They're thinking. Anyone?
Ooh, everyone focus on Corvus.
If not, I'll start asking some questions.
Oh God.
Oh,
And
not
you
Come
don't
on,
want me
Corvus
doing it.
chat.
What questions?
Come on.
Oh
Come
no!
on, Corvus chat.
Oh, I feel like I'm in school again.
Oh
My
dear.
chat's not. Nope. Not
I hope I get it right.
You're wasting your time, not mine.
It's all right. No, yeah. Big unhappy smiley face. You know, kind of smiley upside down. No stars.
I thought, Llama, you were good with the questions earlier. Where the fuck are you at? You gone? You bitch!
All right. I'm gonna.
Oh, what is everyone's
easy.
favorite SCP?
Oh, we're still on
Oh.
SCP. Oh God, I don't have. So you're basically asking two people. I don't
you're
think we.
asking
You know,
two. I don't have
I
to-
think
don't
I
know
think we're
about
not
it.
going to answer that question. I think that's
Okay,
something you're going to
okay.
have to ask them specifically. Let's keep it on the point.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go on to zombies. I think specifically because it is the most prolific survival / horror aspect. So the question is why zombies? And that's
What type of
a good
zombies?
question.
Are we talking the infectious type zombies where it's a virus or the undead? Because there's a big distinction. in horror
I
games
was
between
waiting for
those.
that. Just waiting for that.
Well, what do you think is? I mean, in gaming, it's oftenly could be both because in certain left 7 Days to Die, they're shamblers until they get close. Then they become something more like, 28 Days Later kind of zombies.
That's based off a infectious virus of some sort.
I'm just.
Same
They're
with
undead.
Left Dead or
Nazi zombies in Call of Duty. They're
They're
undead.
undead. They're undead.
Yeah.
That's for me. They're undead.
Rising its bees.
not a
Dead
horror
Rising has the
game.
bees going in there.
If there's zombies in it, it's horror for me. Done.
But
I think they're a bit
just-
overdone now.
Yeah.
Like everybody put zombies in their games.
Are we saying that zombies are being de-horrored? Oh my god, no!
Well, yeah.
I-
I mean, look at Plants vs Zombies.
yeah,
That was
Yeah.
a great game. Go on, Nick.
It
was
is a
good.
great game. But
zombies have become so overused.
No!
It's like a cornerstone of what they use for games. Like, oh, you have a horror game? We got zombies. You're like, okay, so now we're a horror game? You're like, okay.
very
I
good
heard-
question, and I think will be very relevant to one. What is everyone's thoughts on Sons of a Forest coming out soon?
Oh my fucking god!
There's your answer.
Zombies, zombies.
That's
There you
my
go.
comment. I mean, I could do
John
crazy
just
shit right
jizzed his
now.
pants.
I need to go to the bathroom. I'm like Sons of the Forest 2.
I think you just went full Zoidberg.
Sorry, I'm sorry. I've just been this like Corvus just like flicked something sensitive. That's all. I'm gonna say.
Like the thing is with zombies, like everybody knows about zombies. They pretty much know what a zombie is, and
Sons of the
like
Forest.
after like I don't know if it was Call of Duty that did the first like zombie mode, like Black Ops.
Black Ops was the first
yeah.
time, yeah.
Yeah.
But it kind of feels like everybody's just throwing them in there because there's a zombie mode in this game, and like it doesn't even have to be a horror game. Like everybody
Was
just
it Black Ops?
So-
It
Huh?
was a mod for Counter-Strike.
Yeah.
There was a mod on Counter-Strike where
There
you
was,
could
yeah.
become zombies.
yeah, zombie mode, yeah, but
Zombie mode.
They put
I-
zombies in
that-
Fortnite.
I
They
don't,
put
I don't know.
zombies in
That
everything.
wasn't really the same thing.
Oh, okay, hang on. Alex, Dead Space.
Dead Space is also a good point with
Yeah,
zombies, but then
yeah.
that's body horror
So,
Yeah, okay,
thing.
okay.
horror.
The reason that they're in there is because it's a default bad guy. You don't
It
have
is
to associate a race or a country or during the
Yeah.
Cold War it was the Russians. During the Afghan wars it was the Afghans. Now it's
Well,
zombies
Taliban.
for everyone. Yeah, fair enough.
I was
But yeah,
thinking
it's the
muffins,
default.
but fair enough.
Yeah, it's the default bad guys.
Yep, they are the muffins are the
Yeah.
default bad guy.
I thought muffins were the default. I've played many games where muffins were.
Pumpkins.
Anyway, moving on.
Yeah, but I think John is just railing against the fact that zombies are no longer as scary as they used to be. I think is the case.
No, they're zombies. It's Halloween. It's my
There's
world.
plenty of other monsters. Like there was a werewolf
yeah.
game recently that came out. I can't remember what it's called.
Puppy McTuff.
And there's like the Vampire Bloodlines new game coming out. So
Yeah.
they're trying to
Very excited about that.
rekindle.
That's on my wish list. That's on my wish
Yeah,
list.
it's the same
Well,
here. I'm a
because-
huge fan of Vampire the Masquerade.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Monster ones, too.
Corvus, don't go there.
Well, it's kind of like when
Well,
I have a
Underworld
long
there?
history with.
Come on, guys.
when all those came out, everybody was doing what was it? We got like zombies right now are overplayed, but back in like the mid '90s, everything was vampires, everything was werewolves. Then zombies came out with Dawn of the Dead, and then everyone was like, "Ooh, zombies!" And then other games started putting them in. You're like, and then Resident Evil and everything, where people were like, "Ooh, zombies!" Like, this is the thing that's going. And then it's kind of like milk it till it's dry, and we're at that point now that it's dry. And now they're going back around to go back to other creatures like the werewolves and the vampires and everything like that. Where I want us to go to a different direction and go to like something else. Like,
Somebody
get out of
there.
just mentioned Call of Duty World at War was the first game to have zombies in it.
Ah, right.
Okay.
All right, but
Okay.
did it really not the first, but the first time we've encountered zombies as a sort of action game? I think because I'm pretty sure there was
Yeah.
zombies in games
Yeah.
before that, right? It's a,
Yeah,
Zombie
There's-
games based on zombies.
Jeez, I don't
Yeah.
even know. If you go back to the first zombie game, there's like
Zombies
school.
did my neighbors.
zombies have been
says-
around forever.
I'm just saying. That's a
zombies
the-
are my
the-
names. Yeah.
Yeah.
perfect
Yeah.
game.
Like the
Perfect
zombie mode that we've all played at some point, like pick up guns, unlock new areas, shoot zombies. It's
Nazi
way-
Sniper Zombie Elite.
My
Who hasn't played
favorite,
that?
like, zombie game was the Dead Rising series. I like that aspect of the zombies, where it's just a shit ton of zombies and just shooting weapons, just going through them all. Like,
Yeah,
man,
yeah.
there's zombies here. Like, I like
that game
that
was
one.
so fun.
I felt more attached to that zombie aspect, and then when I was playing like Black Ops, like I just felt like, oh, there's zombies in here. Okay, let's just kill these. Dead
What?
Rising was the one that made me like, oh yeah, let's get some fucking zombies going in here.
Mm.
That's what
Left 4
really got me hyped.
Left 4 Dead. Left 4 Dead 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's me. That was me. Left 4 Dead 2 was me.
That is definitely a game that just becomes repetitive and tedious. I like it. I like it. I enjoy playing it, but it's like the same maps. It's the same thing.
Yep,
You have to
yep,
run
yep.
from here to there,
Yep,
and it's
yep.
like same weapons. You can't mod them.
Yeah.
Eh.
Yeah. But it's so basic. It's
Sorry,
just
I'll be
like,
right back.
it's just nice.
Yep.
I'm also going to be
Sorry.
right back because I'm going to go meet Corvus in the bathroom. Be in a sec.
Ooh,
Yep.
it would be so much
You
fun.
think we're in different places.
Ah, you thought so. They're actually sharing an apartment. Right. Okay. If we're talking about like that, it's like there has been some interesting sort of things that takes on zombies. World War Z, I thought was the zombie tech on World War Z was just mind-blowing because they basically took whatever was and made it look just like the movie where they were just crawling over each other like a sea of zombies, and that actually added a bit of the fear factor to me when you just sort of saw this falling over each other nonchalantly, just not giving a crap about their well-beings. They're just
sort of
moving
chaotic
as a
cloud.
sea. Yeah, a cloud
Yeah,
of
it's
zombies.
What
What
do you
is
guys
the
have
name for
fire ants
collective?
where you guys are at? Fire
Yeah, well,
ants?
yeah, similar in Sweden. Yeah.
Yeah. That's how I feel when I see them, like they're crawling all over themselves, just crazy, not caring, just using each other, building up. That's the zombie aspect that I like the most.
You know,
I don't
one thing. Sorry. One thing that I'd say quintessentially scares people in horror games are clowns.
I'm not afraid of clowns. At
I'm
all.
terrified
not
of them.
afraid of clown.
I find them ridiculous.
There are some people that are afraid
hate
of clowns, but yeah,
Doesn't do
I don't
anything to
feel-
me.
I don't feel more afraid of a clown necessarily, but that's also just me. I don't know. I never had a scary aspect. I didn't think that it was scary when I was a kid. Like I was scared by like Child's Play and
Should
like
When I was
little balls and stuff like that.
when I was
They
5, a clown stole my father while I was at the circus. Or at least he didn't actually steal him, but it felt like it at the time. And ever since then, absolutely terrified of him.
Oh yeah,
I've just got this mental
Yeah.
image of clowns stealing fathers now. It's just like just hoarding their,
running up,
not taking kids, just taking dads. Yeah, I'm just gonna.
They
Hey,
pull
how's
up
it
with
going?
that little beetle and just
Yeah.
toss them in.
Hey,
Is there
which
any
kids?
clown killers?
Grab them.
Is there any clown killers in Dead by Daylight?
Yeah, there's a clown killer. He drinks a lot and he has the knife. He's actually got my favorite girl, Kate, because she's got the best character model out of all of them. But he throws he drinks to go faster and then he throws stuff to make you get sick and then he coughs a lot. But he's not scary. I don't find that scary. I find him more disgusting because he's like a drunk walking around like let's do this. He's just like I don't.
Pennywise work in
Parody.
Dead by Daylight?
Hmm?
Would Pennywise, like the clown from It, would he work in Dead by
Oh
Daylight?
yeah, they got
Oh,
Freddy
that-
Krueger and
Not if he-
everything in there.
not-
He would definitely be in there.
Not if he does his dance that he does in the new movie.
Well, I mean, if we're going the Fortnite way,
Yeah, if you want to bring everybody in, everyone's looking for the TikTok videos. So you had it sitting there and someone did, but yeah, that'd be lit. But yeah, Pennywise could easily be in that game.
Does
Have
that-
him eat people and shit. Like yeah,
Does that get you, Corvus? Does clowns affect you?
No. Clowns don't affect me. I'm not affected by clowns. The clown that came up in the Beast Inside was slightly different because that looked like a clown, but it wasn't. But it's one thing I've seen. A lot of people are terrified of clowns, and you don't get them that often in games. And when you do, they tend to be quite well done.
Yeah.
'Cause
Sorry, I'm back, guys.
My favorite clown is from House of a Thousand Corpses. I
Oh,
don't know
yeah.
if you've ever
Oh,
seen the movie.
Tutti fucking
That's
fruity.
great. Yeah, a great
Tutti
movie, though.
fucking fruity.
it's used to.
My taste of fried chicken.
I love that. That's a good one.
I fucking love Captain Spaulding.
So you were going to say something, Karkin?
No, I was just asking, is that the clown that Bass used to dress up as?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Captain Spaulding.
Yeah, we've got a good friend at Halloween who does the perfect Captain Spaulding. He plays him. It's fantastic. I think if you're on Wee John Gaming's Discord, then you'll be able to see potentially him in the background in one of the pictures
There may be in the Halloween section a few pictures, but if not, I will add some more. But oh god, yes, tutti fucking fruity. And
Oh, definitely get check that
and
out.
he made everyone taste the rainbow.
Yeah, but
terrifying clown is
so many drunk people.
I think the people that are often triggered by clowns are usually triggered by masks and
It's a phobia.
face coverings of sorts.
Or they've had an incident as a child. And
Yeah,
it
like
scared them.
Yeah, that tends to be it.
Yeah, that's usually for me. That seems to be what people are saying. That something when they were young happened, and that's it.
But it's rare nowadays.
But
that
it's
you get an
most kids
original
are afraid
monster.
of face coverings as a whole.
Yeah.
It's psychologically
Well,
they're
at
just
the moment.
afraid of it, of being hit, their face being covered. They just don't get it, and it triggers a fear reaction.
I can confirm this with having a face mask in the shop and my daughter screaming when she saw me.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't deal well with masks at all.
Corvus, if I saw your lovely face covered up, I would also scream.
Oh, thank you, John.
I don't know.
So
No, clowns don't bother me. Masks don't bother me. I guess the only thing that would really bother me, like physically when I feel, is just the spiders, and that's the root of arachnophobia. Watching as a small child. So, but that's my one irrational fear is spiders, because I know they can't really.
My mom hates spiders. My sister
like-
also. She doesn't hate spiders, but as a young, when my sister was young, she was literally washing her face in the bathroom upstairs, and a spider was on the towel when she was drying it, and she literally screamed, fell backwards out of the bathroom, and fell down the stairs.
Oh my lord.
Oh, wow.
But not arachnophobic. She's not arachnophobic. So. But yeah,
Then
she
you-
was like, that's
No.
just scary. It was
You
just
should
fucking-
definitely come and play Grounded then.
Oh, no.
Grounded.
Survival game we've not
Yeah.
talked about. Grounded.
Grounded.
There we
is
go.
great.
Get back to Grounded. No.
Yep.
So-
those
Be a horror game,
spiders
though.
are terrifying.
It is if
Come
you're
on,
afraid of spiders. I guarantee it's a horror game.
I mean,
Terrified.
there is an arachnophobia
Or insect.
mode where they
Harry.
spiders, though.
Yeah, like Deep Rock Galactic. They have like alien kind of spider-like creatures, and that game creeps the fuck out of me just because there's spiders everywhere, and I'm just like, oh my god.
You see what
It's
I
just
do like
one of
is
those things.
some games have like arachnophobia modes in them now, so you can turn them off.
Yeah,
Which is quite cool.
What do they replace them with? Like smileys?
they just take them out.
Bunnies.
It varies.
Bunnies.
Sympathy.
No, see, I just play it with it because I like that feeling. I like that chill factor when I'm like, I gotta touch this door and open it covered with spiders. Let's do this.
It's a VR
wouldn't
game
turn
where
that
there's
off.
spiders involved, isn't there?
Oh yeah, I play that. I might be terrified and I might shit
Oh
myself,
my-
but dude, I'm down.
Knuckle, are you sadist?
Yeah, I'm crazy that way. But I also like I like that adrenaline because it's nice overcoming your fears. That's why I
Just
like
look
playing
at-
some games.
You just
Just
finish
get
the
up
game
and
and
start beating it up.
you just get up, have a hot shower, and like scream to yourself, going, "Yes!"
Definitely
And
every morning.
fart loudly. Fair enough.
Ah,
Fair enough.
like
I salute you.
Phasmophobia. One time you get fed up, you just run up and you're like, I'm just gonna take him now, and you start swinging in the ghost.
No, I never get to that.
What do
point.
you think
I'm
they
usually
should
dead.
use spiders to replace zombies then? If more people have an actual fear reaction to
Ooh,
something like
spider.
spiders or
Clowns.
something like
Spider
Oh.
clowns.
spider clowns.
Spider clowns.
Underclown.
My lord.
Spider
Clowns, nah. I was just thinking of like a game with like little spiders because then it'd be hard to shoot them, and you had to shoot them all, and you know, oh yeah, I couldn't do that.
And they tell you jokes like clowns would. And they
I
have
think-
little
Those-
powers.
That's how the pumpkins walk around in the game, how they get on people's heads. Is
Was
they're
it
little
Time-
spiders.
Yeah,
Was
totally.
it Time Crisis that had the spider robot?
Oh god, Time
Yes.
Crisis. That's going back.
Shiny Cat was playing a game where you play as sort of an exterminator, where you have to run
It was
around
a
the
bird or
house.
something.
And yeah,
'Cause there's yeah.
Huh, that sounds interesting. There's an
She-
old PS1 game called Spider where you play Black Widow
She
and you go
hates
around and you fight other
spiders.
things.
So, but yeah, apparently you have to kill the spiders, but doing the least damage possible to your apartment. It's kind of like playing Ghostbusters, the video game, where you totally fuck the place up with your proton deck. So, yeah.
Sounds like fun. So less damage to exterminate the bugs. That sounds interesting.
And like, yeah, everything's just flammable, everything's explodable. But yeah, and it was just funny watching her freak out. As soon as she saw one, that was her. She was off.
I don't say that they necessarily could replace, because I don't think a lot of people are afraid of spiders. Because I'm like the one thing, because I'm up here where there's spiders everywhere. Someone's like, "You're afraid of spiders?" I'm like, "Yes." They're like,
I mean,
"Oh, haha."
if people are
Like,
desensitized to zombies, then maybe something new is.
Yeah, something new that sort of hits the zeitgeist, but is also deeply tapped into human beings' fears.
There's very few things like that.
Pigeon
Snakes
rats.
or spiders, pretty much.
Pigeon rats.
COVID.
Pigeon rats.
not
Pigeon
necessarily.
rats.
Face masks.
Mine is like I like the one zombie movie that did rabies. Like rabies made people go crazy. Like that that scares the crap out of me. Something like that.
So going
But then
into
again,
sort
you're
of
in this the zombie.
So, are you liking more games like oh god, Knuckler? Have you played Dread Hunger?
No, I have not played Dread Hunger.
Zombies.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
Knuckler.
Zombies.
cannibals
Dread
specifically,
Hunger.
actually.
Dread Hunger.
So
Mhm.
so if anyone doesn't know what Dread Hunger is the fact it's set in the 1800s and you're all a part of an expedition into the Arctic.
Ooh.
But
Yes.
several people on it's like Among Us, where then several people on your crew are actually cultists,
I've
which are
seen this,
out
looks
to
really
kill
good.
everyone else in the crew. So what happens is the ship got to get from A to B, but needs to get coal, which is found out on the map. And in the meantime, that the cultists are trying to then slowly kill off the crew before they can get to the end of the ship's trek. So
Also, every player has their own specific role. You are the
Yeah.
cook, you are the guardsman, you are the captain. And there are supernatural creatures, wolves and shit outside, and you have to build campfires. There are storms coming. It's a survival game as well as Among
How many
Us.
players could?
Sorry,
do
I
that
just
minimum?
jumped into you, Lettuce. Sorry, I just got passionate when I heard the topic.
I picked that up. We haven't played it yet. Though.
Look, I can
I'm up
almost
for
like
that.
touch you. I can just.
No, no touchy.
yeah, he's right above him.
I'm now controlling Lettuce.
But I think the Among Us is a really good aspect because it where Dread Hunger sort of works slightly differently is the fact that is you need 8 players to play it. So you need a full crew.
Oh.
So it becomes harder to get a group together to play because it's so large, but the experience is far better as long as everyone sort of knows what to do. So as long as the people who are killers understand that they cannot reveal themselves, they've got to do it on the sly, they've got to do things such as poison the food supply.
Yeah, you're the cook. You can poison people. You can poison the
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. We just need lots of people.
But you've got to get away with it. Because
I'm
you
sure we
8
can get a team
people,
together for
though?
this.
So you need 8 people. There's no like bots or making it a smaller team or anything like that.
Randoms. You can get randoms.
Yeah, you can get randoms.
Myself and Lettuce played with randoms. I think it ended in madness.
Yeah, I decided just to beat someone to death with an old like bone I found in a graveyard, for example, and then this is before I learned how to play it, and then I figured out that everybody gets 2 lives.
You killed me. I had to be in the
Oh.
brig and convince people to get me out. And they didn't.
Yeah, and when you get killed, you basically go into the brig, and then you have to convince the people that you're not a cultist. You get two lives. Everyone gets 2 lives. So even if you
Apparently I'm
do
not
get killed,
convincing.
as long as it's not you've done it in a non-convincing way, then you will be able to get yourself
I
released.
just screamed, "Lettuce killed me" numerous times at people, and they weren't happy. So
Damn you.
That sounds fun.
So it's definitely one recommended.
Yeah. No, it's good. I love it.
I'll be up for a game of that.
Potential city.
I'm not sure your potato could run it, Andy, unfortunately.
I've seen videos of it before. I think it might be able to if I drop the graphics right now.
I'm gonna take all the shadows, everything away, and I can see the plane.
Oh
and
yeah,
everything.
you have to. Yeah, this
Proper
thing suffers.
wireframe game, right?
It's gonna be stick figures and a bow.
In competitive shooters, like I'll go in and I'll take out all the grass, I'll take out all the shadows, and it's fun when you walk in, you see a guy hatch in the corner, you're like, I don't have shadows, blah 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 blah. and you just keep on going. Like that's how I do that stuff.
To that muck.
Oh, what's the
Ooh.
date? Sorry to
Muck.
sideline that, Tad, but what's the date on Potato 2? Do we have a date?
Yeah, do we have a date on Potato 2? Andy?
Whenever
So-
I get my money together to get the GPU and the CPU.
So when you sell a kidney for a GPU, because that's currently the biggest issue
Pretty
with
much,
gaming
yeah.
at the moment, I think.
And
Oh,
trust
yeah.
me, you don't want
I
a
suspect
kidney.
it'll
You
be
do not
2 to
want
3
that
weeks
kidney.
before I get the GPU and the CPU.
Like that kidney is nasty.
I think that's for me is the biggest thing at the moment is that I was lucky that I managed to get a GPU just before the pandemic hit. If I really wanted to upgrade right now to be able to play even some of the newest horror or survival games, I would be screwed, really. I think that we John, you're doing really well, but you're having to pull everything down right down to the
I'm
minimum.
still fucking here. I'm surprised I'm right here with you people right now. I've got no idea how this shit's staying together. I've got like gaffer tape and there's like string and there's a rat running around in a circle over next to you off camera. I'm I'm amazed and I'm totally thankful for all the support I've had. But yes, it also proves that you could do this with fuck all.
Karkan is
I can
looking into
explode at any
streaming.
point.
Karkan, you're looking into streaming soon as well, right? So you're.
Yep.
But I think you've got a decent enough setup. You just need to get like lights and all these sort of things set up for
Yeah.
what
Lights,
you want to do.
lights, camera, action.
Lights, camera, action. Because you are really dark at the moment. You're like sort of coming out of the darkness.
I don't think he wants to show himself. I think he's shy.
No.
So Knuckler and
Shaggy.
Corvus, I mean, you guys seem to be pretty well equipped at the moment. But you seem to be set up for streaming for the future as a whole. Because I know Corvus, you were running a 3080 or a 3090, something stupid.
3090.
Fuck
Yeah,
you.
he's got-
Couldn't get a
Fuck
3080.
you, Corvus. That's all I'm
I
going to
couldn't
say.
get but here's the best part. I couldn't get a 3080 for the life of me. You could get 3090. My wife turned around to me and went, "Just get a 3090." I looked at her and went, "You sure?" It's like, yeah, just get a 3090. I didn't question it. I went and bought one of the same fucking day.
I could put a down payment on a house on a 3090. It's ridiculous.
Pretty much. No, I got a 1080 Ti, and it sounds pretty good. And then I have 32 gigabytes of RAM in there, all DDR5. Then I have a good processor.
Cyberpunk on max everything,
Yeah,
and
see,
it was
like
glorious.
I do that, like, but my display's only 1080p, so I'm not playing in the 4K. So 1080p, I just everything's fucking hardcore up there. If I do 1440p too, I just put all the graphics to max and play it. Like Horizon Zero Dawn, that was gorgeous. And same games, and that's what I do now. Is I just max it out, and I haven't ran anything. But eventually, I'm gonna have to upgrade. Like I'm almost there. I'm to the point where I'm eventually gonna have a potato, but that's gonna be like 5 years down the line.
I
Yeah,
think-
this
pretty
thing's
okay.
9 years old.
I think
And a
10
laptop.
Yeah, yeah. Andy is really struggling at the moment. He's running on a laptop, i3.
It's
Oh.
an i5.
Okay.
Is it an i5? It's an
It's
older
an
i5, right?
Yeah, it's a Toshiba Satellite i5. It was pretty
Oh,
decent when I
Toshiba.
bought it. It was $1,000 when I bought it, but it was 9 years ago.
Yeah,
Is that why you've turned into Jesus?
Eh?
It's turned into Jesus.
I'm just like you've literally over the years turned into Jesus. So I'm just if is it helping you with your potato? Just
Yeah, I keep it alive.
okay. That's good to know because sometimes there's points where we're like it's not gonna happen and you do it, you pull it off.
So what do you think? I mean, ultimately, most of you guys have built your community out of horror and survival and these sort of things. Do you think that the content, let's go by the official terminology, that the content you produce is better or worse depending on your actual hardware and investments that you've made to be able to produce these streams? Because that's a good question, because John, on the other hand, let's start with John. John doesn't have probably the top end, but he's kicked off well.
Right. So hang on. Just let's just recap because that's a lot for me to digest. So why have I been where I am or I am right now.
Or do you think that your hardware is either enabling or disabling the content that you want to produce?
Like as in the PC just for the stream, or my tech
Well,
in my brain.
Well, it could be anything, right? It could be
I'm
your
overthinking this
computer.
already.
I think you might be overthinking it. I think ultimately you're overthinking it because ultimately,
Which could be an answer in itself.
because ultimately there's some people that are just running hot tub streams, okay, and effectively it could be just a laptop with a screen looking at people running around in a paddling pool with like a fake bra on, these sort of things, and they're pulling out thousands.
Yeah.
But do you think that you would be doing better content with a better PC, or do you think that?
No.
I think there's a minimum you need to be able to stream.
Yeah, because people will get pissed off if they can't watch something and it's all over the place.
Yeah, no one wants to watch something that's...
To a degree, yes. So if somebody can watch something and see something at a reasonable level, or at least see it later on, yes. But at the end of the day, if the content is shit, what's the fucking point?
Yeah.
So that's me. So yes, to a point, but if what you're watching is just fucking like another EastEnders episode, which I'm fucking sick of,
no. EastEnders.
Content is key. Tech, yes, but obviously, if your tech is shit, people can see your content. So there's a balance. Content and tech, there's a balance.
Video isn't as
Does that make sense?
Mm.
Yeah.
So what do you think? What do you think, Corvus? I mean, you're running probably the most top end out of everybody here.
Ooh, Mr. Fancy Pants.
Yeah, but that's because I had a 8-year-old PC, which was a potato that needed to be upgraded, and I just happened to splurge.
But do you think it's giving you the better opportunity? It's ultimately. Do you think because you've got the tech?
Not necessarily, because I mean, I can play certain games and I can make it look fantastic, and I've had people just sit there for like 5 minutes, go, "Oh my god, this looks great," but it doesn't change. Like, if the content's shit, no one's gonna watch you.
Yep.
There is a minimum you need for like audio. Audio is probably the biggest. So if you're clear and coming through well, people appreciate that more rather than video. But if you've got like the minimum, as in decent video, good audio, and your stream doesn't lag, then then you're good. So hardware isn't the major factor, and that's something a lot of people learn the hard way, which is unfortunate because I think due to COVID, there's been like a huge increase in the amount of streamers that took it up because they had nothing else to do, and might as well try it with my current machine. But otherwise, they wouldn't have streamed because they were basically like, there's all these people with these massive rigs, and I'm not able to do everything and so on. I mean, I do a lot of video editing, so I actually make use of the graphics card. So.
And so, Knuckler, you're on the mid-range. I think you've been agreeing very much with both parties a bit.
Yeah, I'm on the mid-range. I don't feel necessarily like, it's good that I can play the newer games, that I'm not going to be having a bottlenecking because I won't be able to do that. So people like that, but it's mostly the content of me is what I've noticed. A lot of people watch because they like watching me. People like trying to get me scared. People like watching me because they like it when sometimes I get stonewalled while I'm just playing and something jumps out. I'm just like, and I just keep on going. And then because I just did an experiment just a little bit ago where I completely played something, I only was playing horror games, and then I was like, let's just go completely off the wall. And I played an MMO for 3 streams just to see what would happen. And then everybody was like, why aren't you playing Resident Evil? This isn't Resident Evil. And I'm like, well, I'm still here talking, blah blah. And people are like, but they also like watching that. Yeah. So it's not necessarily, you got to find a good blend of your own content to promote yourself, and then you also have to have content that's dragging them in that they want to also pursue. Because like when MNO can go so far, like you're going through dungeons, you're doing the same thing, it's just the grind. Like you can only go so far, and you get sucked into dungeons, and then you're just sitting there, you're like, oh shit, and then you're neglecting chat. And then so like a horror game is like, people are there for the story, people are there because you're joking the entire time because you're scared. So to help you, you're expressing humor to make you feel more comfortable, and then everyone is just having a good time because you're sitting there like just talking yourself through.
Yep.
And that's what I think that people draw into for me.
On that, there's one thing that kind of worries me as a horror streamer. There is a finite amount of horror games, and most horror games you play through once, and you can't really replay them.
No.
So
Yeah.
unlike your Fortnite,
yeah.
Valorant, MMO, whatever
There's
streamers,
one time only is because it's just the same. Yeah.
that you're gonna reach a point where, like, if there isn't something new and good that's come out, you're gonna run out of content to stream.
And I think
Yeah,
that's
that's
probably
why you
where
kind of-
I think that's where survival may come in. I think this is where this entire sort of rounding up the whole discussion again is that survival games give you a nice gap from a content perspective. Survival games will then allow you to takes more time, and you can do more streams with it, which may give you more time for a new horror game to come out, but still keep you in your your area of what content you enjoy to produce.
Yeah.
If it's a dry patch, then just go back to do a few of these.
So that's another half hour. So I think we get one more round of questions from chats.
Oh, I think I have a quote. Hang on.
Ooh.
I have two questions. Hang on. Was there one? I don't want to miss a question. Nope, I'm going to go with this one then. If there's anybody else, sorry, I don't want to...
Has anyone else got any questions? It doesn't matter. Fire away, John.
Okay.
Yeah, go for it.
Is there a true horror MMO like WoW, ESO, etc.? If not, should there be one?
There was, but it didn't take off.
Yeah.
Secret World.
I suspect, horror is sometimes it's a bit more of a personal experience. So
30 seconds, guys. I'll be right
MMO
back.
doesn't really work
Yeah.
so well. If someone's had that experience 100 times before, it's no longer horrible. I mean, what do you guys think? I mean, you guys play more horror games than I do, but in my viewpoint of it would be, if you see an MMO, whoever's before you's done that experience.
Yeah,
So
I
it's
don't
already
think-
seen.
I couldn't see horror giving me chills. Like eventually it'd just be like World of Warcraft with a horror overlay.
Yeah.
Like you'd be just fighting the monster and be like, okay, cool. And then eventually you'd get desensitized. You'd be like, let's go get the guts. Okay, cool. I got the hearts. Cool.
Yeah,
Like,
just
I'll
I've
look
done
at
that. Let's go do it again so I can get the things.
Mhm. Yeah.
Grinding in horror doesn't work, I don't think. I really.
I'll wait for Les to come back for that one, Llama. That's a good one.
Here. Do you like running zombies or slow walking ones?
Both.
Oh, running zombies are scarier by
Both.
a considerable
walking.
margin.
Both.
Walking.
I like both.
28 days later.
Oh yeah.
Zombies. They're fucking terrifying.
I like the variation because then if you have a variation, you don't know what they're going to do. Could they walk at you? Could they run at you? You're like, ooh.
That's what's good with the 7 Days to Die zombies. Like during the day they're walking, but during the night they become more active and start
And
sprinting.
you can set your server to whatever you want them to do.
Yeah. Always
And,
running.
and like we do, always fucking running at you.
I like breathing.
Yeah.
I like slow walking zombies. I like being able to think.
Lettuce is back. So I was waiting for
Welcome
Lettuce for
back,
this channel question.
All right. Okay. What's the
Right,
question?
are we all ready?
Yes,
Yeah.
And I just want to say Llama is sporting out the top questions.
Oh, Llama, go for it.
Yeah.
Shout
if you
out.
had to make shout out to Llama. If you had to make a horror game which brought something new to the scene, what would it be?
Terror toenails.
What?
I don't know. It just came. It just totally just popped into my head for some random reason. I don't know.
See, again, that's a very good question.
I think
Mainly
we get
because my
into
brain
the
is hurt.
questions we had earlier on with that the VR and the touch touch
See,
feel.
I don't want
that
to
would be
exclude people that can't
crazy.
do VR.
You have it on your feet and you just feel someone tearing out your toenails.
Or even
No.
touching the back of your neck.
What have you done, Llama? I don't want to be VR exclusive though.
Yeah, not VR exclusive.
Yeah,
I think
no.
What would it?
the biggest
Oh,
audience
yeah,
is consoles and PC.
I'm just gonna be generic and say,
After we jump, I gotta go.
Okay,
I got a
just,
good one.
just the people that are doing the games right now that are top of their game, just tone what you're doing. That's enough for me. There we go.
I want to say like one thing that I want to be up in a horror that's be different that never been done is like crazy underwater creature things. Like
Well,
imagine
like a
like
Subnautica thing, but on horror.
The Black Lagoon.
yeah, like
That
a
is
whole
horrifying,
aspect
though.
of like something like you go down, you go through a cave, and then you're in this whole world of all these creatures that are ready to kill the world.
Giant
Like
people.
that'd be
Sort of,
something that
it's sort of
'cause there's no-
Bioshock, but with some weird creature.
Yep.
Sort of
Crab
like
people.
a crab.
There's a lot of Cthulhu games like that.
Looks like
Yeah.
That's what
crab.
I'm saying. Like more, I like Cthulhu games. I wish those were more popular because they're always
Yeah.
really good.
Cthulhu crabs. Right, Cthulhu
On that,
crabs. Let's do this.
I was actually thinking something a little bit more
I'm
like
thinking
using fairy tales, like the
Yeah.
original.
Ooh,
Fairy tales.
you're very close to what I was thinking, Corvus. I was thinking something in the medieval period or something in
Yeah.
the Dark Ages, and
Any
something
Grimm's Brothers based.
Yeah, going into
stuff.
heavy-duty Grimm's Brothers stories. It's just,
like original
Terror,
dark
yeah.
ones. Yeah. I think that's a very good idea. I mean, I was certainly thinking just shifting up the timeline and doing something like, imagine a sort of like a Resident Evil 2 style thing. I mean, effectively, the Plague's Tale is a little bit like what I'm talking about. If you've never seen that, Plague's Tale is effectively very much a supernatural event in sort of the medieval period where it's just rats. If you have got a fear of rats, do not play a Plague Tale. It will make you shit yourself. Because they're everywhere, where you have to scare off an entire sea of them with just a torch, for example, as they fill the rooms. My granddad would just die of horror right there, because that was his big fear. But yeah, the sort of the supernatural of that period hasn't really been explored or exploited, and there's some very deep fundamental stories that we grew up with, which so the fear should be there.
was The Witcher not into that style of thing?
Well, I mean, it's not horror.
The Witcher.
No, it wasn't a horror, but they went to trying to capture witches who were
No,
following
so
similar.
I
The
have a
Witcher is
question.
based around, and I will like.
Corvus can win this. He's
my hand up.
Polish, so he's got.
One, I'm Polish. Two, I've read all the books, and I'm a huge
He
fan of
sounds
the Witcher games.
Irish. Isn't he Irish?
Quiet, you.
I thought he was Irish.
I could sound Scottish if I wanted to as well. So
That was
No, you
Irish.
okay,
That was Irish.
I can do a Glasgow.
Don't push yourself, my dear. Don't push yourself.
Yeah.
But it's about the Witcher games are based around Slavic lore. So all those monsters that you see, they're all from old Slavic lore, which is quite scary. Like
People are crazy.
See, and I'd like stuff like that, like what you're talking about. Like we have something in North America called the Wendigo, which is like an old ancient creature.
Yeah.
like-
Oh, I know about
Yeah.
him. Yep. I know about him. Yep.
Yeah, there's that one Until Dawn. If you've ever played that, that ends up being like in a crazy, really good story game. That's actually what introduced a lot of my family into horror games. Was me playing that, and then everyone watching me like, keep playing that game. I was like, okay.
But they
But
recently
that's what we're
released
bringing in.
like a game specifically about the Wendigo.
That'd be nice.
No,
Yeah,
it recently
I-
came out,
They did.
and it's really
Oh, yeah?
good. Yeah,
Cool.
IGP, which is I watch him for a lot of horror stuff. He did a whole thing around it, and
Yeah, but that's like a medieval old Native American story. So I like that kind of stuff. And that brings that in because everything's so modern with the zombies going to werewolves. Like that would be cool to bring into the horror scene right now, would be like old tales. Because those ones like the Loch Ness Monster, that's still, people are always like, oh,
I'm
what?
for Ness.
Yeah.
It's
And then
I live next to Nessie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Give
see?
her 350.
350.
350.
You have no idea how much Nessie wants. But yeah, no, like Inverness, Loch Ness Monster, that's where I came from. Oh, also,
Yeah.
Knuckler, Bigfoot.
Yeah, Bigfoot. Yeah, I live in Bigfoot country. Like,
So
Yeah.
did you have Bigfoot the game?
no, I do not.
We're
I want to
asking
get it though.
We'll have to get you on a stream, Knuckler. I think you'll like.
I want to get it now. I want to watch it
just-
play.
I just go out to the woods. Like,
No. Well, we can't. We can't go out to the woods. Give me
Yeah.
your address. We'll get some money together.
Yeah.
I'll sell a kidney, and I'll come out, and we'll go big. But until then,
The men will go Bigfoot hunting proper style.
on stream, Bigfoot.
everything is on fire. You don't want to be here. If Bigfoot's up here, he sadly is probably burnt to death in a fire.
Oh my god! there was a recorded story about. Anyway, sidetrack.
Yeah.
So I just imagine Knuckler now, because you said that, going out and doing his famous Bigfoot call and screaming into the heavens, just like, calling the Bigfoot.
Oh god.
And then
be
you get
more
like a
like-
curdled scream of a Bigfoot on fire.
Hang on. Do feet have knuckles on them? Knuckler feet, big feet.
No.
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 Knuckler's for the power of the moose knuckle.
Okay.
You guys know what a moose
Okay.
knuckle
Where
is,
are
right?
those?
He doesn't.
Yeah,
John
yeah,
doesn't.
yeah,
but,
yeah.
Camel toe.
What the fuck?
It's the same thing, John.
From?
It's kind of the same thing.
It's like the Canadian version. Anyway,
Sorry, John, it's
let's
not
stay
your
off this
area
one.
of expertise.
I've got. I mean, I'm not even going to say sorry to my chat.
I don't think you need to worry about it.
No.
It's things that haven't been done a lot. I mean, again, we're still on that. I mean, we went on the sort of the tales, but I think there's also the question of, you know, as I mentioned earlier, that body horror is the thing that triggers me. So The Thing, for example, we had a bit of it in Dead Space, but it's not really been explored in other games. And ultimately, I think, especially like Knuckler, when you're saying spiders, when the head grows the legs and starts scaling off, that sort of thing I think could be explored way more in horror games. I think there's a lot of the same tropes and, you know, just jump scares and stuff like that, but just general creepy pasta isn't there.
Yeah. That's what I like. That's what creeped me out about Resident Evil 7 with the creature, when she was vomiting the bugs that were crawling out of her and everything. Like, that would be something like, imagine like a head popping off like into a spider, and then you have heads and spiders crawling around. Like that kind of body more for like creatures. That's what I like about Dead Space, with the hooks and the different aspects.
And I think. So do we have any other questions? You said there was another one. John? Nope.
I had one.
You might have.
I've
Totally forgot it. So,
So we're gonna write these things down.
Oh, hang on. Maybe I do have to. Okay, right.
Okay, right.
Fuck you all.
You're focused.
Oh,
You're focused.
hang on. Oh, no, that's not really a question, Lamma. Total terror. No. So jump scares. How, like on a scale of 1 to 10, how bad do jump scares get you? As anyone playing horror games?
10.
Really
Every
And
time.
also for streamers, a double question: when you're streaming, is it different? Is it twice as bad, or because you're focused on your chat as well? Is it different? There we go.
Yeah, I find the reaction is
Good
definitely
question.
different when you have an audience watching you play the game rather than playing it on your own.
Yeah. Because you'll get engulfed in your audience and you'll notice and you'll sit there and then you'll look over and keep looking, talking about what's going on and be completely off topic. And then the game just brings you right back in with that jump scare. But for me, it's not necessarily the visual. It's more of the scream. Like I need that audio of that. Rah, and then it brings you attention, kind of like an alarm.
fucking hate jump scares.
I mean, is there a level of embarrassment to it as well when you're being watched as well? Because
I'll go last.
I don't feel really embarrassed with necessarily being scared on camera or getting through a jump scare. Like, I'm playing a horror game, like that's gonna happen. It's kind of nice that everybody can share in the jump scare, because usually everybody else that's watching and participating is engulfed with you. So when it comes up, everybody's just like, "Oh, Jesus, I did not expect that," and that's what I like about them.
Especially when it's like really well done and you don't see it coming.
Mm-hmm.
when you've had a jump scare and you're like, okay, we've had the jump scare, we're continuing on, okay, the story's progressing, and then something completely off the wall fucking happens. Knuckler, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Oh my god, so many times, and those are the best moments because then everybody's in there. Everybody enjoys in the fun, and then that's what I like about. So I'm not necessarily embarrassed being scared because I know everybody else is scared with things. So it's kind of like we're all sharing it in. It's like our own little secret that we all just got scared right there. And I don't really feel embarrassed pretty much playing like screaming like a girl or anything because it kind of comes with the aspect of playing the horror games. Like sometimes you're going to be a pansy, sometimes you're going to be a labs, you're going to be a little ass bitch and you just be like and that's nice to have the people there. But I wouldn't be embarrassed getting scared or anything like that. Like that's part of the fun. That's why we're here.
Embarrassed.
Yeah, John. So what you wanted to go last here? What do you think about jump scares?
Oh no, like Jesus and Cookie haven't said anything.
Well, we know what Andy just
I only
is.
ever get scared. I get scared in the van when I'm perfectly safe because you've dragged me into this situation.
I just wanted to hear it.
If people haven't watched any of the streams, Andy is a coward and hides in any game
I do
that's
not like
scary.
scary things.
Hides, yeah.
Andy does not like horror games, and we don't. But I totally appreciate the fact that he plays games he's not totally comfortable with. But we love him.
So shout out to all of the people that do it for the team.
Do it for the team. Yeah, do it for the team.
Yeah.
Cookie, what you got to say?
No, as I mentioned, I pretty much hate jump scares. I don't mind them in games, but like in movies, I think they're just a cheap way of scaring the audience. But like one of my worst experiences with jump scares was that fucking it looks like a car commercial. Car is driving down the road, it goes behind a grass
Oh, yeah.
and just fucking zombie dude. Oh man. Oh no. It makes me sick just thinking about it. No. But I'm pretty good at spotting jump scares though. Like you could usually tell by like everything, by the music, by like how everything is playing out in a movie or a game. Like sometimes they're pretty easy to spot.
I think that's my point. Is often it's the jump scares can sometimes be too tailored that you can tell it's coming in a lot of games, and that loses a lot of the effect. It's the unexpected jump scares that are best. That you're not really expecting to suddenly this guy to grab you through the wall, for example, or these sort of things, because you're fully expecting nothing is sort of shown that this is going to happen.
Up a baker just jumping through the wall.
Well, the ones provided by your chat
no, oh no,
is
oh
probably
yeah.
the most unexpected.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like
Sean, it's your turn.
So I fucking love jump scares. I fucking love them. The reason I'm alive. Again, just if you watch my channel, it's not about finesse gaming. It's about excitement. It's about adventure. It's about randomness. It's about shit happening. It's about unpredictableness. It's about things that could be planned that are going to go well, but they don't. Because that's life, and that's what we're doing, but in a fun way. And I, again, just like every time, like the people. God, if somebody says they watched me shit my pants, they didn't like it, come on, step forward.
I was usually there.
All I'm saying,
Standing in
Cleaning
it.
up the mess.
people love me seeing me shit my pants and play games. And I just love being scared. I don't know what's wrong. I'll see somebody, get a therapist.
It's all about the spooky brown pounds time.
It's
That's what we're all
that's-
here
I'm
for.
covered in fucking pumpkins, people. Come on. Accept
It-
this.
It's so popular to watch horror streams as a whole.
The thing is, I love people liking me get scared.
but
When somebody says, "I've just had the best time watching you shit your pants," I feel so happy. I feel really happy. So
But it's just a new way of watching horror movies.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's Let's Plays, isn't it, as a whole, right? So it is.
Yeah.
It is, for me, it's the Mystery Science Theater factor, where your community, they're sort of there watching something happen in front of you. And I loved Mystery Science Theater. I loved the people, watching something and taking the piss out of it as it's going on. I used to watch every single old horror movies and then just ripping into them. And I love that. And that's a part of the Let's Play sort of field, is that you're also, in an interactive way, doing the same thing. Your community is also commenting, you're chatting with them, and then suddenly you're involved in that medium. And I would love to do a stream where all of us watch an old movie that we can stream on Twitch that is royalty free, and do just talk about it and just fucking speak shit about it, because that would be so much fun.
One thing I've been told by a load of people that come to my streams is that they won't play horror games themselves, but they'll gladly come watch someone play a horror game and shit themselves.
Yep, nope, I'm with you. I get that all the time. Yep.
I get that a lot too. So like, I couldn't do this, what you're doing. I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna walk in here now.
And to be honest, seeing me win a game and seeing me lose and get scared, well, we all know what's going to be the best thing to watch.
Well, we know where we're going to watch.
Because, you don't make friends with Salad, you don't want Wee John to win. So.
I couldn't do it on my own, but I don't mind following him.
And I see, play games, have fun, talk to people. I don't give a fuck about winning. Just want to have fun.
Yeah, I guess that's also what you get out of a game, right? Some people do not enjoy a game unless they can win it, of course.
Fuck that. If I win, it's a bonus. If I get my shit scared out of me and I poop my pants and have to get something mopped up, then fair enough.
So I've been playing a game recently which I've not been wanting to stream, and it's called Hades.
Ooh, nice.
Because a part of it, it's a roguelike, but you die all the time. It's actually a part of the game that you've got to keep dying. And I think that would actually be interesting content for people to watch, which is why I've not been doing it.
I would like to see you die constantly. Sorry.
Oh, thanks.
Sorry.
Right, so that's the end of the stream, guys. Fun there.
We've known each other for so long. I'm just getting that out of my system. Sorry.
No more tech support for you.
Sorry. Well, I'll get someone else who doesn't die all the time.
I'm available.
Oh, domestic. We're having a domestic. Oh, God.
It's reached that point of the stream where Wee John has started to attack Professor Lettuce. So let's keep that on there. So I think this is actually a really good point. I think we've been blagging on horror and survival for the last 2.5 hours.
Shit, was it 2.5 hours?
It's been 2.5 hours. Yep. So I think this is a good time to wrap. I think Cookie is now seeped into the darkness.
You okay there, buddy?
His face looks like he's going to explode. Yeah, God.
Are you thinking?
That's not Cookie. That's a stunt double. Where's Cookie? He's off the pub.
I just grabbed another cookie from the package.
There we go.
There's just a bunch of them under a desk. He just pulls them up every so often.
So I think it's time to rein this in, guys. So I want to thank everybody for taking part on this first ever Salad stream. This is going to be the first of a many series coming forward with many different people being invited and getting involved. So next month, hopefully we're going to be doing this on a monthly basis. So next month we're going to talk about cult movies. So we've actually talked a little bit about horror today, but I'm sure there's going to be a lot more we can talk about in the next Salad stream. And we have a slightly, hopefully next time we'll have a much more wider breadth of topics we can talk about. And of course, now people are being a bit more prepared, more questions coming in from our chats. And hopefully everybody enjoyed it. So a special shout out to Knuckler Games. So follow him if you don't already. To Corvus. So make sure you set and follow there. And Wee John Gaming. And don't follow me because I'm Professor Lettuce, and you don't make friends with Salad. Reach out to the community.
Follow him. Follow him. Follow him.
And again, thank you everybody Thank you everyone for taking part. And again, hopefully we're going to have a lot more community streams where we're going to get a lot more of the streamer community involved and a lot more of these sort of events where we can all take part. So thank you everybody. Say goodbye everyone and thank you. So,
Bye.
Goodbye, everybody.
Yo.
Goodbye, everyone.
thanks everyone.
What happens now? What do we do? What do we do, Lettuce?
Drink more.
Do we end the stream?
End the stream. There we
End
go.
the stream. Okay.
Mwah.
Okay.